And you can bring up whatever you want. So if you want to bring up anything controversial, I'm just talking about like what's going on with Black Lives Matter and
Oh yeah, I am definitely with the first movie.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to bring up anything, go right ahead. You're fine.
Yeah.
I haven't decided if I'm gonna put an additional disclaimer at the beginning of this or not, but there might be an additional disclaimer just in case. But yeah, I don't want to ignore the real world that's happening, so don't try to like censor yourself. Okay, here we go. So 5 seconds and I'll start. Okay. This episode of Off My Shelf contains coarse language and adult conversation. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, my name is Tracy James and welcome to Off My Shelf, a podcast about movies that are well off my shelf, where we go through my DVDs and talk about the movies in my collection. In this episode, Sean Archer is here to talk about one of the best action franchises in history, Die Hard. Welcome!
Yippee-ki-yay, Tracy.
Yippee-ki-yay! Oh my god. When we get to it, I'm actually going to finally, I don't know why it took me so long, but I finally figured out where he got the yippee-ki-yay from. And I don't know why I had never picked it up before, and it's just so ridiculous. But when we get to it...
That's funny you say that, because if you want to wait till we get to that, because I didn't look it up, but I think... Anyways, we'll get to it.
So thank you for being here to record this episode.
Mm-hmm. My pleasure.
I'm just going to say off the bat, I love most of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
They are great to just turn off your brain, see people run around, see some stuff blow up, and see some excellent bad guy acting. I fucking love the bad guys in these movies. They're fantastic. I do too. And I know you're not supposed to root for the villain, and it's not even that I root for the villain, it's just that I'm just like, every time they're on screen, they're just chewing up scenery.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is amazing, and I love it. So, I don't know, but yeah, they pick their actors, and they create their bad guys in such, in the best ways possible.
Yeah, they have such great dialogue, and
yeah.
A couple of them are just really evil for no, like the guy from Die Hard 2.
Yes.
It's where he's putting a gun to his own man's head, fail me again. This won't be empty.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, one thing I realized actually is that in the first 3 movies, all of the bad guys are actually military veterans. They're not all from the same military, of course, but they're all military veterans that believe they have been wronged by their superiors, became mercenaries, and were just and then everybody's like, no, you're a little too much for us. Then to decide to do their own shit. And that's when they went crazy.
You could argue that for 4 too, because I think he worked for the Department of Defense. I know he's a coder and a hacker, but
yes,
he worked for the military-industrial complex, and then they wronged him. So he's like, all right, I'll show you.
I'm going to take shit out on you. I'm going to show you how it's done.
I'm going to prove you that I was right and steal some money at the same time.
Yeah. So we're going to ignore talking about that fictional 5th movie, quote unquote. I don't own it. I refuse to rewatch it even to prepare for this.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually watched it more than once just to verify how much I hated it.
Yeah, I think I've seen it twice too.
And I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it in theaters and I was pretty disappointed.
Yes, I saw it in theaters, and then I thought it was one of those things where just no, they just they changed the style of the film. That's why I hate it. And I'm like, no, just let it rest. Go back, watch it again, and you'll be like, oh, I like it. No. I was just like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
The other problem with 5, not to talk about it too much, but I find his son, that actor, is kind of boring.
Yes.
Jai Courtney or something like that.
Yeah.
Every time I see him in anything, he's just so bland, and
he has the Sam Worthington issue where remember what is it, 5-6 years ago, Sam Worthington was in everything. Yeah. They kept trying to make him a star, but he's boring.
Yeah.
You see him on screen and he does stuff and you're just like, why are you here?
There was a movie in the last couple of years that I thought he was really good in. I can't think of what it was, because I feel the same way about him. But then I was like, oh, something I like him in, but I can't think of what it is.
I can't think of that either, because he was in that the horrendous Terminator movie.
Yeah, I hate that
he
movie.
Was also ruined
Clash of the
Titans, and then he did the sequel to Clash of the Titans, which I don't remember the name of. Those were so bad.
I never saw the sequel, but the first one, again, saw in theaters and left it. I was like, this was awful.
Yeah.
And that was when 3D was like Avatar had come out and How to Train Your Dragon, so they reshot some stuff, but it was really bad.
Yeah.
The 3D was awful.
Also, he was in Avatar, right?
Oh, yeah. That's right. He was.
Exactly. He's so forgettable that people forget he was in one of the biggest movies ever made.
I think literally the biggest movie ever made.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame almost surpassed it, but it was like $20-30 million shy of it.
Sure. Yeah, it's really short shy of it. And then they finally were just like, we give up, and he disappeared, and I was like, thank God, because he's just ruining shit. But then they just replaced him with this guy, and they're just like, can we not? They also put him in a Terminator movie. Ugh.
Which one?
He was in Genesis. He played Reese in Genesis.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Kyle Reese.
Yeah, so Also, I'm not a hater on Genesis. I actually don't mind Genesis as much as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I'm very up in arms about it, but
that's the newest one, right?
Yeah, that was the last one that came out.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Wait, what?
I know. I missed it in theaters, and I just it's not been on any of my streaming sites yet.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised.
I was really bummed because I did want to see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm. I think Genesis was a really good movie to see in the theater, actually. I found the set pieces really good, and it was very big. And there's actually one scene in the movie where I was in the theater, and I was kind of freaking out. And I was just like, what's happening in that bottom right-hand corner? And people were just like, what are you talking about? And then something happens. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to spoil it for when you watch it.
Okay.
I was just like, oh, shit. That's actually kind of amazing, because if you watch it on a smaller screen, it is so easily missed. But even on a big screen, because it's not actually what's being focused on in the scene.
Ooh, interesting.
You kind of miss it. They do some really interesting things with the direction of the film and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying there isn't any problems with how the story is, and how it kind of goes against what came before it and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, compared to the movies that came before it, it's a solid action flick that's a lot of fun, that has a few twists and turns in it. And
so it's your favorite one since T2?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. But I also do have reservations about T3 as well.
I like T3. I know I'm in the minority, but I really like T3.
I like T3 not because of the movie, but because they stuck to their story. Mm-hmm. That's what I like about T3.
I like it for the crazy car chases. There's a hearse car chase. There's a crane car chase where it's just hitting everything. Mm-hmm. Anyways, like maybe at the end when all the robots start coming alive in the factory and killing everyone, that's a little over the top. But
yeah,
I guess that's what Skynet would do. But
it's got to kill everybody that can stop it from doing what it wants to do. Right? That's the whole point. Yeah. Anyways, back to Die Hard. We ended up on Terminator. It's fine.
The first tangent of many, I bet.
So it's incredible. This first movie came out in 1988. This movie is 32 years old.
I was 6.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. And I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, most of the effects and everything in this movie are better than some movies that came out like within the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. And it's shocking to me.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple of scenes that are glaringly like, this was green screen and you cut somebody and put them in there. Yes.
Oh yeah. When they're riding in the limo, Argyle and McLean, I'm like, they're not driving in there. Anyways.
No way. But of course, I love Argyle. Freaking love Argyle. I think he's one of the best characters, and he's underused in this movie.
Yeah. He's just sitting down there chilling in the limo.
Yeah. I also think he may have been the inspiration for Chris Tucker in The Fifth Element. I'm just going to say that. I know that's another Bruce Willis movie. Mm-hmm. But they've got the same kind of, like, flair, if you know what I mean.
This is probably one of the most ripped-off movies ever.
It is, yeah.
Like especially in the action genre. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Well, one of the funny things is so what is it? Last year, Netflix has a TV show called The Movies That Made Us.
I was going to bring that up, yeah.
Yeah, and this is one of the movies that was on it, and I was watching the movie, and I guess because I was so young, like I was 8 when this movie came out, I did not see it in the theater. I didn't see it when it came out. I was way too young. I didn't know all of the stuff behind the movie. I just knew it when it was already like a huge deal, and I watched it, and they're like, this movie almost didn't get made because nobody wanted Bruce Willis to be the star because they're like, oh, he just does like, funny things on TV.
Yeah, Moonstruck, right?
Yeah, Moonstruck, Moonlighting.
Moonlighting, sorry, it was Sybil Shepherd.
Yes.
Yeah, so never seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, he was doing that show, which was like a cute, they were detectives and they had clients and they just kind of helped people, and it was just like, it's a him and her, will they, won't they? Yeah. Oh my God, they're getting along. She's straight-laced and he's like, he goes by his own rules kind of thing. It's cheesy, but it's fun.
I like John McClane.
Yeah. And but he wasn't an action star. He was more of like a romantic coupling, right? Because Sybil Shepherd was the star on Moonlighting, not Bruce Willis. Like he wasn't the star yet. And he had done a couple of smaller films, and he wasn't the star of them either. And yeah, that's all he had done. And people were just like, we can't take him seriously as an action star. What are you talking about?
That's also the time when if you're in TV, you pretty much stayed in TV. Like or movies, if you did TV, like it looked like it was lesser to you. Yeah.
So,
I mean, some people did cross over, and like Bruce Willis obviously did. But
yeah, he managed to get out, which was good. Unlike now where I think like movies and TV are the same level. People you can be a giant movie star and you do a TV show and nobody's like, oh my God, you did TV. They're like,
or you do a limited series on HBO or something.
Yeah. And those shows are so good.
They are. I love them.
Well, I guess with the streaming services and all these different ways you can get media, television studios are fighting just as hard as movie studios for audiences. So they have to up their game. They got to up their writing. They got to up their production value. They got to up their star quality. They got to up, just everything. And
especially now when who knows what's going to happen with movie theaters.
Yeah.
Like they will come back, but will they survive 10 years from I don't know. I'm worried.
Know.
I'm super scared.
Because I like going to the movie theater to watch movies.
Yeah, I probably average a movie a week in normal times.
Yeah, I try to. I don't as much anymore. For years and years and years, I averaged a movie a week, and no matter what, a movie a week.
Yeah, I'm kind of cheating there because like if I'm at a film festival, I might see 4 or 5 movies in a week, and so that kind of skews it a bit. But I love going to the theater, and I really miss it.
But yeah, no, I like the thing about the theaters. You get the other people's reactions. You get interaction, especially if it's like a comedy or action flick, and you see people lose their
horror
shit
movies
when it's good.
In the theater are my fave.
Oh my God, yes.
I love hearing people scream, and then it makes me scared too. And
yeah, you get like the pure tension, Yeah. I mean, I do hate it when people ruin a movie.
I've been so lucky that has happened to me almost never. Like damn kids not shutting up. Or I remember Paranormal Activity 2 or 3 that happened to me, and I don't know how long ago that was. And one movie I was at, people got into a fight, but the amount of movies I see, and like I can only think of 2 instances. Like I'm pretty lucky.
You've been relatively lucky. No, that's good. That's good. I mean, I haven't had too many bad experiences. Most of the audience participation does have to do with the film. So, like even if somebody's a little bit too loud or laughing a little too long, you can't fault them on that. They just think it's funnier than you think it's funny. That's fine. Yeah. But there have been times where I full on like turn around and be like, shut the fuck up or get out. Yeah. Or I'm just like, what are you doing? Can you not? It's like one of those things.
I mean, I guess the one grievance I have is people looking at their phone. So all of a sudden in front of you, there's a big bright light.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so that I guess I don't like.
They even have like the Tommy Texter like ad beforehand telling you not to do this. What's your problem?
Have you seen that? Have you seen it in the theater? Like I mean, not obviously as a kid, but like.
No, I've never seen.
I don't think I have either.
I'm pretty sure I saw With a Vengeance and Live Free, Die Hard, and It's a Good Day to Die Hard in the theater.
Yeah,
so all 3 of those.
Yeah, I've seen 3, 4, and 5 in theater.
I don't know if they've ever replayed them in Toronto in a theater, or if they have, I missed it somehow.
Yeah, And it's probably not going to happen since Disney now owns them. So they're very protective of their content.
Yeah, but they've done like re-airings of like Star Wars and stuff. So I mean, if there's enough of like an outcry for it, or enough they think there's enough of an interest, they'll do it. They're like, Disney is great with their content and keeping hype around their content, but they're still money hungry. I know, they will go out and do stuff like that.
I do remember when Disney bought 20th Century. Oh, by the way, I love when these movies start and the oh God, I love that.
Which you don't see anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I remember when Disney bought 20th Century, independent theater chains were worried because they're so protective that they won't like show Home Alone. I mean, I can't remember if they own Home Alone, but like, will they let us show Die Hard at Christmas? Will they let us show, I don't know, what's the appropriate? Anyways, like they were very concerned about it. And like, a lot of them have contracts that haven't expired yet. So the word when that they do expire, will they renew them?
Oh wow, yeah, that's kind of worrisome. But
because they probably don't make a ton of money releasing it in a couple theaters in 10 cities in North America. Like
yeah, but also, what's the harm in doing so if it's become like a tradition? It gets.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, because it gets press, it gets people showing up. You still make some money. You still keep your movies in like the front view of audiences. So we're like, oh yeah, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Let's go watch that.
Yeah.
So they don't have to watch all them sappy movies at Christmas and stuff.
I'm subscribed to 4 or 5 streaming services, and I couldn't find Die Hard. I had to sign up to Amazon Prime for a thing called the Hollywood. I can't remember what it's called. The Hollywood something. Never even heard of this
Suite?
Thing. Yes, that's what it was. So I did the 30-day free trial, and it had all the movies. I almost watched 5 too, because I told you earlier, I couldn't sleep. I'm like, oh, fuck it, let's just watch 5. But no, I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it wasn't on any of my normal sites.
Yeah, I find like really popular older movies are the hardest ones to find.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I mean, I'm lucky I own it, so I don't have to worry about like searching for it. But even like trying to find like the Terminator movies is difficult. Finding Star Wars, well, now that they have Disney Plus, you can find the old Star Wars movies, but finding them before was crazy hard to get on streaming services.
You can't find the unedited ones.
Exactly. Well, one thing I actually found out was nobody's actually seen an unedited version of Star Wars since it was in theaters in the 70s, because apparently he did editing when it went to VHS the first time, or whatever, or Betamax, whatever it was turned into first. Like, he already did some edits when it happened there. Yeah. And then a couple years later, he did more edits. And then, of course, he did the digital revamp that was, like, the big edits that people bitch about. Yeah, that just, it makes me so angry. Like,
I went to Star Wars Orchestra December or November. Which one was it? It was Return of the Jedi. And, oh, God, the Sarlacc scene, like the Sarlacc pit, and the stupid digital head comes out.
Yeah,
and it looks so bad. Like, it did not age at all.
It
took me out of this. It ruined the scene for me. I love that scene.
Yeah, and that's the thing that pisses me off, is that the stuff he puts in there, like, there's nothing wrong with trying to make your film better. I get it, but what he puts in there doesn't add to the scene. It wasn't done well.
Just distracts from it.
Yeah, and like, there's scenes like when they first go into Mos Eisley, and they're going towards the canteen and they get stopped by the stormtroopers. And for some reason, a giant bantha right in front of the screen, blocking the whole screen, walks by, and you're just like, what is the point of that? All it does is that it breaks your scene. Yeah. This isn't helpful. Why are you doing this? And it's stuff like that really makes me. And they changed the music in the cantina and the band that's playing. Oh,
during Jabba the Hutt's palace scene.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why?
The singer with the long, the alien with the long nose, and she's like a cabaret singer. Not cabaret. Anyways.
Yeah. For some reason, they got rid of the Wolfman in one scene, and I'm just like, he was one of the aliens, when they were like panning around, showing the different aliens. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why are you switching people around? Just leave them. It's fine. I don't know. But this movie, aged well. I watched this first movie especially, and when it was done, I was like, oh my God, I still love this movie.
Oh, yeah.
This movie is still so good.
When you asked me to watch these, I was like, you know what? I've seen them so many times. Do I even have to rewatch them? Yeah. And except for 3, because I've seen that movie 100, 200 times. I don't know. I love. Anyways, I'm really glad I rewatched 1 and 2 because there was definitely stuff I did not remember.
Yeah,
or I remembered it slightly different. Like I did not remember that in the when he's on the airplane. Like I guess the opening scene.
The guy beside him with the
exactly. I completely forgot about all that. I thought he was like his feet were sore and that's why he takes off his shoes. And then like I forgot about that. And then I like when the stewardess gives him like, hey.
Yeah. Which comes back in 2 as well, because apparently he's so hot, every woman wants him.
I remember as a kid we had these on VHS, and I had such a crush on that the one from 2.
Yeah.
The stewardess behind helping him out with the fax machine.
Yeah, just the fax, ma'am. Just the fax. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's such a lame line. You're just like, come on, really? We couldn't do better than this?
Doesn't matter. He's John McClane.
Yeah. Who I like the fact that they continuously remind us that he's a complete Luddite through all of the movies.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like he doesn't do technology. He doesn't know how to work a fax machine. You know,
especially for.
Where he's like, everything's garbage. You're like, no, what? You need it. Yeah. I surprisingly have very few notes on all of these movies because I was too busy watching said movies.
Yeah.
One thing, I do have an argument that 3 can also be considered a Christmas movie, and I will explain to you why later.
Oh, okay. Yes. I don't see how at all.
Oh.
Awesome.
You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
Well, I think 4 can be considered a science fiction movie. I'll tell you later. No, I don't know.
Oh my God! Yes, there's lots of things in here. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, especially with 1, there's a lot to talk about. One thing that I never really thought about before is because of what's all happening, like I guess Canada too, in the States and Canada, with the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
When Sergeant Powell's talking about his story about shooting the kid, and I was like, oh, you shouldn't just be a desk jockey. You should lose your job.
Yeah. He's like, it was dark.
You never thought of it that way before.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You're like, it was dark and he was holding a ray gun and he looked real enough. So he shot him. And I was like, what? You shot a kid? That was my reaction. Usually I was like, oh, it was dark. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it can't be like previous viewing. Oh, it's not his fault. You know, we don't even know if he kills the kid. He doesn't say if the kid dies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He does. He doesn't say.
Like he could have shot him in he could have shot him in the leg. But
which of course never happens.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, but also they don't even say. Wait, do they actually say why he was in the alley and he shot the kid? Was he chasing?
No, he just says alley and it was dark and he had a ray gun.
Yeah, right. So yeah, like I like there doesn't even be like a justification. Like I was chasing someone, I turned the corner and someone was there and I shot.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's great, but at least there's a better justification than like it was dark and he was holding a thing and it was a little kid and I shot him. Like
all I could think of was that kid in is it Baltimore or Cleveland where he's playing with his toy gun in a park and then 2 cops just drive up and
just shoot him.
And on the 911 call, the lady says, "I think the kid has a toy gun, but I'm not sure." And they just unload on this kid.
Yeah, but apparently the dispatcher.
Is that his name? Anyways.
Yeah, the dispatcher apparently didn't tell the cops going on scene that part. They were just like, there's somebody out there with a gun, is what they were told. And the dispatcher, the lady who, she felt bad about it, but she's like, I called in, you can get the recording. I told them it might just be a little kid with a gun, like a toy gun, but I can't tell from here. But I also, like, the kid was like 12 or something. Like, he was super young.
Tiny little guy.
Tiny little guy. Why are you calling the cops? Like, why wouldn't you go outside and be like, hey, what are you doing over there? Go home. Instead of, I'm calling the cops from inside because there's a little kid playing with a toy gun.
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense to me. And I think that's one of the biggest problems is that you have all of these people calling the police in situations where they have no need to call the police, which like escalates things automatically. Right? And I do understand, like, the police are called for everything. I get it. But this is why they're asking to defund the police or reduce funding for the police so they can put money into other services so that the police aren't called in situations where they don't have to be called.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
I remember when I first heard the term defund the police, I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. But then you look into it and it's like, oh, this makes total sense.
Yeah.
Especially like in cities where crime is going down. You don't have, but police budgets go up every year.
Yeah, which makes no sense. They have what is it? New York has $6 billion police budget every year, but they keep cutting services to hospitals, to rehab centers, to daycares, to like everything that would help the cops reduce. They cut funding for that and just keep giving money to the cops. And
the police unions are just too powerful.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Did you see the video of one of the police union guy talking about they're being treated like animals and insulted and all that kind of stuff? It was the head of the police union in New York.
I think so.
Yeah, and one of the first things people pointed out was the fact that I've been in my neighborhoods. Most of the cops don't look like the people that are standing behind the police union guy. And I saw one black bald head in the whole crowd, and there's like 30 cops standing behind this guy, and they're all older white men. And in most of the neighborhoods and stuff, it's apparently like they're younger, they're much more diverse. There's Asian, black, whatever. There's they're put in the type of neighborhoods with the people that they know for a reason, and he's going on, but then somebody actually went ahead and spliced in images from the protests that had been happening, where cops are just letting loose on protesters who are being peaceful. Like the one guy who walked up to this dude, he's wearing a mask and he's yelling something, but he's not physically attacking.
Is this the 75-year-old in Buffalo?
No, not that guy, which is 10 times worse. Yeah. But he walks up to this protester, pulls down his mask and sprays pepper spray right in his face, like an inch from his face. Yeah. And you're just like, so you're allowed to treat people like animals, but once you get the same treatment, you can't handle it and it's wrong. We got some issues here, like people say, treat people how you expect to be treated. Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
And these 4 movies are really pro-cop. Well, and really pro John McClane. Hey, there's a dump truck in front of me. I guess it's a bad guy. Let's just shoot into it.
Shoot into it, exactly. Which is dangerous. I mean, the thing is, like, I actually don't find these movies are pro cop. I find they're very pro John McClane, like you said.
Okay. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah. Because even in the third movie, they're showing that they're trying to do work and all that kind of stuff, but they also show that the city doesn't like them. It does show that, right? Yeah. So you're like, all right.
Yeah, one dead white cop in Brooklyn. Next day, 1,000 white cops with itchy trigger fingers.
Yeah, I heard that line too, and I was like, oh, it's so true. Yeah. Ugh. I remember there being a whole bunch of race stuff in the third movie, but I didn't remember how much there was. I remember it just being like Zeus against McClane, and then you realize
sorry.
and then you realize it's more than that. Like, for example, there's this scene where they're on the phone, and he's like, oh, it's about to blow up, and they both dive to the side. If you actually pay attention to the scene, Zeus goes down, and gives him money, whereas and nobody tries to help him up. He just gets up by himself. And if they cut to McClane, there's a whole bunch of people around him looking at him weird, but they all help him get up. Yeah. Right? Oh. It's stuff like that where you're just like, oh, there's a little tidbit in there for you. Mm-hmm. Or when Zeus jumps the turnstile to get to the phone in the train station. Yeah, the transit cop. The transit cop shows up with his gun pulled. Yeah. And you're just like,
for jumping a turnstile.
it's $2 or $3 or whatever. You don't need to shoot somebody over that. And why did you show up with your gun pulled? And I started seeing like all of these little tidbits, and I don't know if I'm giving credit to the filmmakers for putting that in, or if they were just oblivious and they're just like, no, just pull a gun on him because let's make this much more dangerous, kind of thing. But
I don't know if this was a conscious decision, but I noticed 1 and 3 are directed by John McTiernan. Yes. I think I'm saying his name right. And especially in 1, there are 4 black characters in it. Mm-hmm. In movies back in the 80s, you'd have 1, maybe the sidekick, and he'd probably die. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of them die in. No.
One guy
doesn't. Argyle doesn't. Powell doesn't. And who's the 4th one? Sorry. Agent Johnson does. So one.
Yes. So 1 dies. Yeah.
But I action movies from the 80s, and the other McTiernan movie I can think of, Predator. There's 5 main characters, 5 soldiers, 6 soldiers, 2 of them black.
2 of them black, yeah. And everybody dies besides Schwarzenegger, so
yes,
that's fine. And a lot of people are just like, no, the Predator is a black guy. He's got dreads, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
But it was Jean-Claude Van Damme, though. No, I'm not kidding, though. It was.
Wait, sorry, what?
Yeah, he was the Predator in the first one.
No.
I swear.
That's no.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's footage of him with his head off, like.
What?
I'm pretty sure it was 1. I don't think it was 2.
Can you
Google it to make sure? I don't want to say a lie, but
I am.
I'm pretty sure it's him. This is before he was known actor, like, obviously.
It says the Predator was Kevin Peter Hall in the first movie.
What am I thinking of then? I swear it is.
Maybe it was Predator 2?
I swear it was him. Sometimes I wonder if I just dream things.
I think maybe you might be dreaming things.
Oh, here we go. Sorry. Okay, he was the original Predator, and then he got fired from the set.
Oh, so he's not actually in the movie.
Sorry. Yeah, or he's maybe in like a few scenes. Yeah, because you can see pictures with him with the suit on, and like, yeah. If you do Jean-Claude Van Damme Predator and Google image, you can see him next to Carl Weathers. That's
hilarious. I did not know any of that. That is...
Yeah.
I've learned something new.
Woohoo! That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Also, Predator 2, the lead guy was a black guy, and so he lives, so that's good.
Danny Glover? I don't think that's a McTiernan movie, though.
2 is...
Because he did
No, 2 is Stephen Hopkins.
Okay, I don't know him. Because he did Hunt for Red October, he did like a shitty movie called Rollerball, and then he just disappeared. He went to prison for trying to embezzle or...
Yeah, he stopped doing stuff in 2003.
Yeah, it was something to do with the movie Rollerball. I think that's with Chris, not Evans, the guy from American Pie.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr. Is that Freddie Prinze Jr.? And
something happened where...
No, that's Chris Klein. It's Chris Klein. Sorry.
Klein, yeah. So that movie really sucks. I remember
this.
It came out.
Yeah.
But McTiernan hired a private investigator or something to follow the producers of this movie. Mm-hmm. And I think he tried to embezzle him or blackmail him or something. So he went to prison for 2 or 3 years, and then he just stopped making movies, which sucks because he was. If you look at his track record, he's made a lot of good movies.
Yeah, he made so Nomads. I don't know what Nomads is.
Yeah, neither.
That was his first film. Oh, it had Pierce Brosnan in it though.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Then he did Predator was his second movie, which is amazing. Die Hard was his third movie. Hunt for Red October, Medicine Man, Last Action Hero. Such an underrated movie.
You know what? I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so I don't know.
I saw it like a month ago. It was on TV. I don't know. I love that movie. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of those movies that actually has grown on me more and more over time. Yeah. Because as you watch more action flicks and you watch more of like just the genre in general, you better get what they're doing in Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember I watched that movie when it was in the theaters. I remember watching it when it came out. I was like, okay, this is stupid, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then saw it again like 5 years later, and I was like, oh, this is kind of stupid, but it's pretty funny. Then saw it again later, and I was just like, oh my god, I love this. This is so good. I love that they did this and they did this, and then I see it again, and I'm like, this movie's amazing. It's one of those things.
Do you own it?
I do not own it. This is one of the movies I really should own.
Yeah.
But
you should look at your alphabet and see like, hey, I really want this movie in here and this movie and
there's quite a few. Like, I'm very disappointed I don't have Demolition Man. I would love to talk about the movie.
Oh fuck!
I
love that movie.
That movie is so good. You're
gonna have to do like when you're done, like I don't know, in 10, 20 years. when you're done your Z movie or whatever.
I'd be like, movies I wish I had.
Yeah.
Like exactly. Episode? Yeah, I could do that. That sounds like fun.
It could be like one of your specials too. Like, I don't know what Demolition Man, Taco Bell Day or something. Special. Find out a movie about Taco Bell.
God, Taco Bell Day. Oh, that'd be a good day. I'd do it. sit here, crunch on nachos as we talk about it, and be like, yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah. No one can hear anything because we're eating tacos.
Too much.
And we constantly have to pause to go to the washroom.
Yeah. I'll be right back. Sorry. This is my third taco. I can't do this. Where's what is my big gordita crunch or whatever they're called? I don't even know. Mm-hmm. I've literally eaten Taco Bell maybe 4 times in my whole life.
Yeah, and once or twice.
And I think the first time I ate Taco Bell, I was probably over the age of 20.
Oh, yeah, me too. What's that to the city? Yeah,
and people were eating it all the time, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll give it a try. And I ate it, and I was like, why are you eating this garbage? I don't think I'm going to get sponsorship from Taco Bell. I'm just going to say that.
No, sorry, it's off the table.
It's off the table. It's off the table.
When I was looking at John McTiernan, like his scandal, I forgot that Jan de Bont. Am I saying that right? He's a director of photography. Oh, he's a director. I think he did Good Will Hunting, and he's done a bunch of movies.
Okay.
He's the director of photography on Die Hard.
Okay, and
yeah, I'm just saying, like they had a really good team behind this movie.
But
what? Like Jan de Bont.
But what is up with that guy?
I don't know what he does now, but if you look at his IMDb, he's made a few good movies.
Oh, okay, cool.
Or at least like big and popular.
Big and popular, yeah. Well, that's the definition of good movie these days. So
he's a Michael Bay. No, he's better.
Oh my God,
he's much better than that.
You know what? Like, people give Michael Bay a lot of flack, but he's done some pretty good work.
I like his early stuff, and I really liked Six Underground. That's about it for me. Everything in the middle was like...
I hated Six Underground so much.
It was so bad, but I just loved it. It was so much fun.
I hated it so much. But yeah, like, I really... Like, it's true. His early stuff is better. Like, Bad Boys, The Rock, and The Island is pretty much the 3 that I go to with Michael Bay.
Yeah, but The Island got ruined by the trailer. Like, I remember sitting in the theater watching the trailer for it. I'm like, well, I just saw the whole movie.
What is...
Like it tells you that they're clones.
Yeah. Well, like, the same thing happened when Terminator Genesis comes out. In the ad, spoiler alert, I guess.
Oh, wait, maybe I don't want to hear this.
Oh, that's right. You haven't watched it. Okay, I'm not going to say it. But once you watch it, I will tell you what they tell you in the ad. And you're just like, that ruins everything.
Okay, I can't think of what it is. Like, I remember seeing the trailers. Anyways, so that's good. If I saw something,
thank you for stopping me. I forgot you hadn't watched it.
All right, maybe you can like put it in, add it in later.
Yeah.
Side note.
I was so angry, and when I watched the movie, and I'm like, that ruined the whole thing. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Wait, is it that Linda Hamilton's in it?
No, it's not.
No, okay.
Oh wait, there was another Die Hard movie after Genesis.
You mean Terminator?
Terminator movie after Genesis. Didn't one come out last year?
That was Genesis, wasn't it?
No. Oh my God.
Oh shit! You're right. So wait, Genesis is the one where Arnold's like living in the cabin, right? And then that's how he explains that. What's her name from Game of Thrones is in it? Is that Genesis?
What's her name from Game of Thrones is in it?
She plays oh my God, a young
Sarah Connor?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw that one. That's Genesis.
That's the one I saw. Oh, I hated that one.
Oh my God.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the newest one.
No.
With Linda Hamilton and that I can't remember the actress's name.
Yeah, no, that I hated that one. That is not
the newest one you hated.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I hated Genesis.
I did not hate Genesis.
So our Terminator talk.
Terminator Dark Fate.
Dark Fate, okay.
Dark Fate, yeah. That movie sucks.
Okay.
FYI.
I still want to see it. I'll let you know.
Yeah, watch it. It's fine. Go ahead. I did not hate Genesis. And the thing that they gave away in Genesis was, like, in the ads, was that John Connor was now the Terminator.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wasn't it Jason Clarke?
I don't remember the name of the guy. Yes, Jason.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Jason Clarke.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that made me really angry when they gave that away in the ads. I was like, why? That is like a pivotal moment in the movie when you find that out. And because you know it going in, you're just like, he's the bad guy. You're sitting there going, he's the bad guy. Duh. You know, it's very frustrating.
I don't remember if that bugged me or not. I just hated it. I did not like that movie.
I don't know why you didn't like it. It was fine. But I also think that movie has the same problem that Die Hard 4 has, where like it's a decent action movie, but it's not Terminator. And Die Hard 4 is a decent action movie, but it's not Die Hard. You know what?
I liked. I don't know if we're skipping to 4 already, but I liked 4 a lot when I watched it in theaters. Like, I thought the same thing. It's not a Die Hard movie. We were watching it this morning. I was like, I like the first half. Like I think the second half for me is meh.
Yeah, you start losing interest really quickly.
Yes, I started looking at my phone more. I was like, the movie's not funny like the other 3 are.
Yeah.
Like his one-liners are awful. Justin Long is he's a little bit funny to me in this movie, but he gets tiring after a while. I don't know. They don't do anything with his daughter. Like I really like that actress, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and she's great. Anything with her in this. I guess she's. I mean, I kind of like Timothy Olyphant in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. This was like right at the beginning of her career. Like she hadn't really done that much as yet.
Well, so when's the first movie?
Sorry,
when did the first movie come out? 82, 6 you said?
88. And
so when is Die Hard 4?
Die Hard 4 is...
like 2000...
2007.
How old is Lucy McLean then?
Well, I don't know.
So she's at Rutgers University.
Yeah.
So she's supposed to be like 20-ish, very early 20s. I don't think the math works out there.
No, I don't think this is like straightforward. Every year counts as a year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's fine. I understand what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Because if it was correct, so when the first movie came out, she was like 3 or 4, I would say. So then it's another 27 years. 27, 28. She would have been in her 30s.
Yeah.
So unless she decides she's aged really well, looks very young, and decides to get her adult education, I don't know. But yeah, no, they easily cut like 15 years off of how old she should technically have been.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why, but she didn't have to be going to university.
No, she didn't. She could have been an adult woman who lives at home and her father's still overprotective. That would have also been fine.
With a jerk boyfriend.
With a jerk boyfriend, exactly. Or he could have shown up because he knows that her boyfriend's a jerk and shows up and takes him out. That's fine. So, but I guess it makes it, I think they wanted to wedge in some sort of love interest thing. So they had Justin Long and they put her in there and, wedged it together.
That was very wedged in.
It was so, you're just like, you have said half a word to each other. Why are you guys suddenly in love? Like it may have been all the drugs. They were given painkillers. Who knows? It's fine. So we'll go back to the beginning. We'll go back to Die Hard.
I jumped around.
No, it's fine. That's the thing with talking about these movies. I find you kind of want to talk about the storylines through all of the 4 movies instead of talking about the separate movies. But the thing about these movies is that they're all such good contained overall stories as well that you can just talk about a movie and still be like, this is amazing and this is fantastic. I
do find it funny they never mention the other movies except for 1. They always reference back to 1, but never 2 or 4 or
don't they reference 2 and 3 as well?
Do they? I don't remember. Like they say the LA thing and the LA incident, but I don't remember anything about Dulles Airport or because he saved thousands of lives.
Yeah, but doesn't he say something about the LA thing? And they say something about the thing in the airport.
Oh, do they? Oh, I missed that.
If I remember correctly, I remember the LA thing when they show Hans Gruber to him. Yeah. The LA thing, but I could have sworn somebody said something about the airport thing at one point.
Oh yeah,
or the thing in the airport. I don't know, but it's true. It's a throwaway line.
5 or 6 planes. He should be a household name.
But he also inadvertently got a whole airplane of people killed as well.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I'm like, if he didn't talk, like, who knows what the punishment was going to be until John McClane got on the phone. I mean, William Sadler may have taken the plane down anyway and killed Colin Meaney. Yeah. O'Brien. Star Trek guys.
Star Trek. There's more Star Trek in 4. Yes.
Oh yeah, 4 has an obvious one, and 2 has another one. I don't know if you caught it.
Wait, 2 has one? Well, yeah. Colin Meaney, yeah.
Yeah, he's the main one, but there's another one in 2.
Really?
Yeah, the bad guy. I think I said his name. William Sadler.
Yeah.
He's the head of Section 31 in Deep Space Nine.
Oh my God! Yes. How could I forget that?
Yeah.
As soon as you said Section 31, I was like, oh yeah.
I didn't notice one in 3 or 1. Like I
didn't notice one in that either.
I didn't want to cheat this time and like go through every actor like I did last time.
Yeah.
On IMDb.
No.
But I was hoping you maybe caught a few.
No, 1 I didn't catch.
No.
Anybody. In 3, I have a feeling somebody in 3 is in Star Trek, but I didn't actually look it up.
Okay. Which one did you remember?
It was the guy who gets locked upstairs in the school with the kids. That guy. I could have sworn he played... The
Native American guy?
Yeah, I think he played Chakotay's like father or relative in one of the Voyager episodes.
Okay, because I do recognize him from stuff. I just don't know what.
Yeah. I think
sure he's a Canadian actor.
Yes, I think he is as well.
Yeah.
But I think it was him. Hold on. Okay. I'm cheating on this one. I wanted looking it up.
I was like, no, I bet Tracy's caught a bunch that I didn't.
It's Graham Greene.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And we're gonna go this.
He's not in the episode where Picard has to give the planet over to the Cardassians, but there's a Native American colony there. I don't think it's
so apparently he's not in Star Trek, so it's not him. I was wrong.
Okay.
He was the only one I kind of like recognized, and I was like, maybe him.
That's the one thing with number 3. All the side characters, except I mean, like, I don't know. I except for Graham Greene, I guess. I've never seen anything else.
Yeah, me neither. I don't recognize them from stuff.
And they're all so good, I think, in it. Like, I especially like the woman with the curly hair, like with the New York accent. Charlie, you run that shirt up your ass.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. All the side characters are fun in that movie.
They are. Like I even like Inspector. I can't remember his name, but the guy with the mustache, and I think he's so good in the movie.
And the guy, the bomb guy, as well. The guy, yeah. He's great. Yeah. He's
got a big smile talking about bombs and how cool this bomb is. Like, come on,
he's like, Charlie. Did you see it? It's so cool.
People just died, man. Yeah. Some respect. But sorry, you want to go back to one, I think.
Yeah, sorry. Anyways, we got sidetracked by Star Trek. No surprise. It's fine. Yeah, so before we keep going, one of the things I did, because people argue that Die Hard is an action movie, it's not a Christmas movie, and vice versa. And it's a Christmas action movie. Why can't that just be a genre? I'm fine with it. But one of the things I did throughout the movies was check out all of the Christmas references that are made within each movie. Mm-hmm. So in this movie, there are 14 direct Christmas references.
Okay.
Within the film. And tell you the truth, I think that's enough. I think that's fine. You know?
Is your favorite ho ho ho, I now have a gun? Or sorry, I now have a machine gun. Ho ho ho.
Honestly, my favorite Christmas reference is Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC being played in the car. I'm gonna put it up there. He's like, can't you put on Christmas music? This is Christmas music. Yes, it is. And it's fantastic.
Oh, I don't know that song.
It's the song Argyle plays for him in the car.
Oh, I can't recall it.
You're killing me right now. It's
sorry, Tracy. I'm John McClane.
Yes, you are.
Whoops. Sorry.
Yeah, I know people think of Christmas carols as the Tannenbaum song or Chestnuts Roasting on Open Fire or Jingle Bells and stuff, but no, there's a whole genre of hip hop Christmas music that people need to realize. I mean, there's not that much of it, but it exists and it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. People should listen to it every once in a while. It's good.
Cool. Yeah, yes. I don't know if I've heard much of it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. You got to go searching for it, and not just the Jackson 5 stuff either. I mean, don't get me wrong, that stuff is amazing. But yeah, there's more to it than that. But that is my personal favorite Christmas reference in this movie.
Okay. I mean, it's not a reference. I mean, like the first 2 movies end with "The Weather Outside's Frightful." I don't know what the name of the song is, but maybe that's the name. I don't know who sings it, but every time I hear that song, I think of Die Hard. Yeah,
because it's a great song.
And weirdly, I think of Die Hard 2. I always think of the panning out and you see all the airplanes.
Yeah,
Let It Snow. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. And every time I love that song.
Yeah, it's true. Every time I hear it, I do think of Die Hard as well. This is how ingrained that is in me.
Yeah.
Why 2?
I think because I watched 2 the most as a kid.
Oh, really?
Which is crazy because I shouldn't have been watching it. I remember my dad wouldn't let me watch the icicle in the eye scene, and there was, I can't remember what the other scene was. There was two scenes. When the T-1000 shoots. When Robert Patrick shoots the top of the head. I wasn't allowed to watch that or the icicle.
Yeah. What do I look like? Again? Yeah. What do I look like? A sitting duck. Oh. Yeah. It's so horrible, but it's fantastic.
And I love that he's got a machine gun in his right hand and a pistol in his left hand. Like the stupidest. No military guy would ever do that.
Would ever do that because you can't stand properly or control the weapons correctly that way.
This is why they can't hit John McClane.
Yeah, and that's why he's jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I always forget about in Die Hard 2 is the icicle scene because most TV broadcasters actually completely cut that scene from the movie.
Yeah,
so you see them tussle, you see them fight, but then you just see them like the way they cut it looks like they just rolled over and McClane somehow wins and runs away.
Yeah.
And for years I was like, wasn't there something with an icicle in this movie? Where is that? And so I was watching this again, completely forgot about it, and it shows up and I'm like, oh my God, that looks so painful. I forgot about that. I wasn't prepared. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, I hate things to do with eyes. So whenever that happens in a horror movie or
action, you must have hated that Game of Thrones scene with the eyes then.
Yeah,
that part was it was horrendous. Yeah. And I knew that was coming. I was prepared for it, but I was not prepared for it at the same time.
If you ever need to torture me for like codes to disarm a bomb or something, just threaten my eyes and I'll tell you immediately. I'll sell it. Yeah. It's like,
pull out all your eyelashes and you're just like, no, stop it. The code to my bank account is this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's the same code as my luggage.
Yeah. So how many references for Christmas in 2 were there? Like there must have been like it's not Christmas Eve. It's Christmas week. I think they keep saying.
No, it's Christmas Eve in the second movie.
Is it? I remember they kept saying Christmas week, which I've never really heard that term before. But
no, I'm pretty sure they said.
I remember when Dennis Franz is freaking out. He's like, anyways, I probably just heard it wrong.
Maybe it was Christmas week. I don't know. But there's 8 references in Die Hard.
That's it? Oh, I thought you were more.
I'm hold on. I think something's missing from my notes.
Oh.
Well, because the thing is, I could have sworn I put down 8 references. So this goes back to why I think Die Hard with a Vengeance is slightly a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I've written down 6 references to Christmas, but I could have sworn there were 8 references to Christmas in Die Hard.
In Die Hard with a Vengeance?
With a Vengeance, yes.
Yeah, I want to hear some of them.
Yeah. When we get there, I will tell you. Because I'm like, for a long time, I've actually told people, I'm like, no, there's a lot of Christmas with a Vengeance. So it actually directly connects to the other movies, even though they put it technically in a different season. Because this movie doesn't take place on a holiday like all of the other movies take place on. Because even...
school's still in.
Yeah, school's still in. And even Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard, it's 4th of July weekend, right? Mm-hmm. So they actually have another holiday. And there's no Christmas references in that. So it's completely disconnected from the whole universe. Oh my God, they've ruined everything. So yeah. Now the thing with the first Die Hard movie, like it's a tradition that me and my mom watch it for Christmas. And what's really funny is that my mom hates cussing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really weird that this is one of her favorite movies, but it's because we grew up watching the first movie on TV where they cut all of the swearing or they replace or they dub all the swearing. Mm-hmm. And it has some of my favorite swearing things like yippee-ki-yay, my friend, is one of my favorite ones.
Mr. Falcon.
Mr. Falcon.
That's from the second one.
And Stupid White Farmer is from the third one. Sam Jackson apparently says that. It's fine.
I don't know if it's Die Hard, but I've also heard Melon Farmers on TV. That might be Die Hard, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a couple of different places. So we grew up, and then finally my mom watched an unedited version once, and she's just like, oh my God. But she's still like, I will watch this on TV. give me the DVD to watch. And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
That's one of the problems with 4, I find, is they PG'd it up, or PG-13'd it.
It's PG-13.
And I know there's an unrated version somewhere where they put in blood and I think they ADR swearing in.
Yes.
I've never seen that, though.
I do have the unrated version.
Okay.
I did, but you have the option to watch the theatrical or the unrated. I actually watched the theatrical version.
Oh, okay.
So I can't actually tell you what the differences are.
Yeah.
I think my problem is I didn't care enough to try to figure it out. So I didn't give myself the option to have to figure it out. Because it's not good enough to try.
Yeah, I like it, especially because they didn't say it in the when they filmed it. So if they're just adding it in, it's going to be when it's the back of John McClane's head, or it's not going to fit properly. Or I'm guessing. I haven't seen it, but so I didn't care that much. But it takes me out of the movie, when he's not swearing. That's why I love that in 2 and 3 especially. Just him and Dennis Franz swearing back and forth, or him and Samuel Jackson.
Well, yeah, because his cussing is part of his character, and to see him literally biting his tongue through all the scenes, you're just like, I'm sorry, wouldn't you be saying what the fuck right about now? Yeah. Yeah? No? Yeah. Oh, stupid motherfucker, why don't you die? No? Stop being a fucking squirrel. He would say these things.
Yeah, also there's very little blood in 4 because they can't show that much. If they show too much blood, then it becomes rated R.
Yes. Yeah. And even he can't even say his catchphrase. They cover up his catchphrase with a gunshot. And I was like, dude, you're allowed one fuck in here. Just let him say it.
Yeah. But it's mother effer, so I don't know if that's a lie. Does that count as the one fuck?
I would say so. I mean, you say fuck just the one time. It should be fine. So, I don't know.
So you said early on that you looked, or where Yippee comes from? Or?
Yeah, okay. So, I finally understood why he calls himself Roy.
Yeah.
Why he goes yippee-ki-yay motherfucker, because yippee-ki-yay is a cowboy term.
Yeah.
And it's that whole interaction between him and Hans on the speaker is where all of that comes from, and they keep bringing reference to calling him a cowboy in all the other movies.
Yeah.
And they actually make a Roy Rogers reference in the 3rd movie, I think, at one point. And then, so that's when it comes back to him saying yippee-ki-yay motherfucker again. It comes back around.
Yeah.
And I never understood why he picked Roy as his name, because I always thought it was the dumbest name possible. And also where the yippee-ki-yay thing came from, and why he kept calling him cowboy. And I think I was just kind of lost in the whole action, because that whole part, he had just killed a bunch of people, your adrenaline's going and all that kind of stuff. And I never paid attention to the words they were actually saying to one another. All I know is the elevator was coming, Hans was pissed off, and he's just ruining plans.
Yeah.
And then when you listen to the conversation, you're just like, oh, it's all right there. I get it. Okay.
No, I'm saying that's one of the reasons I'm glad I rewatched it, because I would have bet money that he says it at the end of the movie when he throws him out the building. I forgot it's over the radio, and as he's leaving a room, and just like you said, just killed a bunch of people.
And it's a great sequence, how they intertwined him, John McClane, and then to Hans, then around the room, and you see the ding of the elevator, and you see him go through the door, and how they pace the conversation. It's just everything is just so heightened and so well punctuated in the scene. The editing of the movie is one of the things I'm so impressed with the first movie especially. They know how to get the audience into the action and to feel the action, to feel the panic John feels at certain points in time and all that kind of stuff. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah.
I love it back and forth over the radio.
Yeah, and it's great.
And then when they meet,
it's so good.
It's American accent.
Yeah. Oh, and going back to watching that the Movies That Made Us thing on Netflix, they're one of the things, I was saying before, they didn't want Bruce Willis to be the lead in it, so they were having a problem selling the movie. But also the other thing was, when they started filming this movie, they only had half a script. They didn't know how it was going to end. All they knew is they got him in the building, there's going to be hostages and something was going to happen. Because apparently when it was first written, because it's based on a book, it was all very serious. Like it was all a very serious thing.
I think his wife or his daughter are thrown off the building in the book, if I remember correctly.
I think it was his daughter is thrown off the building in the book version. And they're like, this is way too serious. And they started rewriting. And they were only about halfway when they started filming and didn't actually know how it was going to end. Which is surprising because the way the movie is put together, it looks like they had to do so much work into like carefully doing step by step by step, but that's actually not how it came together originally, which blows my mind.
It's also crazy that this is like Alan Rickman's one of his first movies. I think he was a stage actor before this.
He was a stage, and he had done some minor TV stuff.
Yeah, so this is his first major movie.
And the scene where they meet and he's Bill Clay and he's all American and stuff, that was completely written in because he was making fun of, or somebody heard him off screen doing an American accent. And they're like, we got to put this in. And
you're one of them. No. I'm not doing it right, but she's great.
Yeah. And he just eats up the scenery, and it's just
the glass.
Oh my God, I love that scene so much.
Or when the coked out business guy is trying to negotiate it with him, and he's just sitting there all cool and like, you figured this all out, and he's playing with his gun.
Hans, this is radio, not TV.
Yeah,
like, what?
Bubby, you're method acting.
Yeah,
Bubby.
I love it, Hans. Booby.
Sorry, Booby.
It's so good.
So great.
Yeah, like they put in these like funny scenes that aren't actually supposed to be funny, but the tenseness of it makes it humorous because it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? I freaking love it.
The first three, I was laughing a lot watching them.
Yeah,
for me. Three's were the funniest. I love three so much. I find they're back and forth with Samuel and Bruce is so good.
Yeah, you get some good banter in there. That back and forth really works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I realized, only one terrorist or robber lives at the end of this movie, which is the black tech guy.
Yep, the hacker dude.
The hacker dude, because he gets punched in the face.
Yeah.
I was like, don't all of them die? No, not all of them die. All of them die in the second movie.
Yeah.
They all die in that one.
And in the third one, a ton of them get arrested, it looks like.
Yes.
I think only Simon Gruber and I can't remember her name, but they die in the helicopter explosion.
Yes, they do.
It looks like the rest get arrested.
Or there could have been a shootout that we missed.
That's true.
We're following the real action, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
But I absolutely still love this first movie.
Yeah.
It makes me very happy. And I also love like the little things that they put in there, like, when the SWAT team's trying to go in and they get pricked by the bushes and he's like, ow.
Or when the dude's waiting there to ambush them and he wants a chocolate bar.
Yeah, he gets a crunch bar.
Little details. Yeah, there's so many little things in the movie that make it so great.
Yeah, and what's great about it is that they humanize the people without you not like. So one of the thing with a lot of movies right now is that they make you understand the villain, and you're like, no, he shouldn't die for that. What he's saying makes sense. Whereas this is just like, oh, they're human too, but they're still the bad guy. Shoot the guy in the face. You know what I mean? You're like, you make them people, but still not people you like. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, I would love to be at a party with Hans Gruber when he's not being a terrorist. But I wouldn't be his friend.
Yeah, I think he'd be one of those people you'd want to hear his stories, and he'd say it so eloquently and perfectly, and you'd walk away and you'd be like, what a dick.
And he looks so damn good in that suit, too.
It does. The suit's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. One of the themes I also realized in this movie was Ode to Joy. They play it. They have it several times in the movie.
Yeah, they do.
Which I find kind of great. Especially when he's in the elevator with Takagi and he's just like, he's just humming it. I was like, this is amazing. And their whole suit banter, fantastic as well.
We talk about nice little touches. When Hans Gruber's going through Takagi's his life, like as a World War II buff, they threw in that he was in an internment camp for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh wow, like that, he's like Stanford from this year to this year. Like anyways, just the way Hans Gruber says it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he goes,
so well written.
Yeah, it's so well written because it shows that no, he's been in the U.S. for a really long time. He was fully educated, but they still threw him in an internment camp. Yeah. And you're like, wow, like that is, well, I guess that's another point of they don't mind bringing out like how people can be racist. They bring out little bits of history throughout the films as well, which is, I think, a great thing. It shows that people aren't forgetting about stuff and they know that this stuff is necessary and this stuff happened, right? Yeah. I thought that was good.
Yeah,
I really liked that part.
Mm-hmm. Do you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I think you do. Right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the episode where Amy takes Jake to Nakatomi Towers?
No, I actually am not. I am not fully caught up, and I know Jake Peralta is obsessed with Die Hard, and he likes playing Die Hard and all that kind of stuff. It's every time he does it, it's fantastic to me. I'm just like, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the later seasons, and because that's an actual build. I mean, obviously it's an actual building, but it's I think from the Netflix show, it's an office building in the 20th Century Fox lot.
Yeah, and that was actually under construction during their filming, and that's what they took advantage of.
They can only film at night. I mean, the movie's based at night, but because they were making so much noise.
Yep. Then they got shut down several times, and they got lots of complaints and all that. They didn't
want the helicopters to fly that low between the buildings, like. Which also, I was watching this. I'm like, why are they doing that? It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, they're like. Yeah, they may not be expecting gunships, but if you're like zigzagging through the city low end and the
why?
Yeah, you're like you would come in as usual and just land.
It looks cool, but there's no reason to do it. And I won't even get started with the F-35 and 4. Like when we get to that. Oy.
Oh, Agent Johnson and Johnson, you're foolish. And they bring up Vietnam. He's like, I was in junior high, dickhead.
Dickhead, yeah. In the credits, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
In the credits, I was letting it play, and it's like Big Johnson, Little Johnson. that's what they called them.
So the thing I was going to point out is I was going to look up because I was going to try to figure out how old Little Agent Johnson was, and so I looked up like the Vietnam War, and unlike you, I'm not a big history buff. I'm also horrible with like memorizing dates and stuff. Yeah. And I know about the Vietnam War, like why it happened, who was involved, and all that kind of stuff. But I never realized how long the Vietnam War was on for. Because I was like, it's probably like 3 or 4 years, and then you calculate whatever. No, it's like, it was 15 years or some nonsense?
I think American involvement started in 62 or 3, and I think they left Saigon in 73 or 4.
Yeah, it was.
And you could even go back farther with the French. They were fighting the Viet Cong.
Yeah.
And that's in the 50s. It's like the French left. Like, so the poor country was at war for like decades.
Yeah. And I was just surprised. I was like, really? Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Never mind. I don't know how old he is.
Yeah, it wasn't until the Afghan War that surpassed America's longest running war. Mm-hmm. Which is still technically going on.
Yeah, technically, yeah, which is also horrible.
Left, I think, but
yeah. But yeah, like, see, this makes me look up history. It's so intriguing. Like, this is what this movie does. Good job, Die Hard. Now, so when it comes to the Christmas stuff, as I said, I went through and picked out all of the references. And like I said, there's 14 references in the movie, and they're actually evenly spaced and like sprinkled out throughout it. And the Christmas decor only counts as one reference on it's like 35 because it goes back and forth. Fine. So what do I have? I have music in the car with Argyle, the Christmas decor and music at the party, Hans humming Ode to Joy in the elevator, decorating the dead guy, ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun. Al singing Let It Snow as he goes back to his car. Because when he goes to check in at first and then he leaves, he starts singing Let It Snow.
Okay.
Theo's night before Christmas references when the SWAT is coming up.
Theo's the hacker, right?
It's the hacker guy, yes. The Christmas spray paint when Hans is checking the roof.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. The city engineer yells, "But it's Christmas Eve," because he doesn't want to turn stuff off. The vault opening, playing "Ode to Joy" and Theo saying "Merry Christmas."
Yeah.
Christmas bells when the building is blowing up. Mm-hmm. So when they blow the roof, you hear a bunch of like Christmas bells going off.
Yeah.
Christmas music when he sees Christmas decor and tape on the gun. So remember when he's coming, everything's falling apart. He's taping the gun to his back. When he looks over, he sees all the Christmas stuff on the cart. Mm-hmm. There's more Christmas bells sort of music going on. Saying Merry Christmas to Argyle.
Yeah.
When they get into the car.
That's when I caught.
And also Argyle says, if this is your idea of Christmas, I gotta be there for New Year's Eve. He does that, and then Let It Snow and Ode to Joy in the closing credits. And Ode to Joy, they do the German version.
You could even argue with the, what are they, bail bonds or whatever? The paper coming down from the explosion?
Also, where's all that paper coming from?
I don't know, but that
so
to me is snow.
What?
No, I think they're trying to because it's LA, right? It doesn't snow there, so to me that was them, adding snow to the movie.
Adding snow to the movie?
Yeah, but I'm talking my ass here. I don't know if that's what they were doing.
I'll give you that one. But that paper keeps falling for 6 minutes. You're just that's a lot of paper. Where are you getting all this paper from? Why is there so much paper still falling?
Yeah, the one explosion should just send it all out, and then
it drops and
a minute tops.
Yeah, because the thing is, John McClane was at the top of the building, right? Yeah. They have to get him out. The elevators aren't working, so think of him coming from the roof, or maybe they were close to the roof. They're at the top of the building.
Yeah.
And then him and his wife coming down, it would have to be in a broken down stairwell to come downstairs, and paper is still falling, and they're there, have a whole conversation. She punches the news guy. They shoot Carl. They shoot Carl.
How did Carl survive anyway, by the way?
I have no idea.
He was hanging by that chain for a long time.
For a while. But there is an actual, I was reading this the other day. I've been doing a lot of Instagram scrolling, of course. Mm-hmm. But I also follow a lot of those fact sites and all that kind of stuff. And one of them was this woman from, I don't know, at some point in time where they were still doing hanging. They hanged her and she recently? Dropped, huh?
Recently?
No, this was a while ago.
Oh,
I don't know, when did they stop hanging people in North America? I don't know.
What do you mean, a lynching or execution?
No, execution. It's not lynching. Okay. I'm sorry. She committed some kind of crime, and it was death by hanging. They hung her with other criminals or whatever. She actually survived the hanging somehow when they took them down. She got up and she was just you said to hang and I hung and I'm still alive, so I'm fine. And they're like, yeah, I guess. And she walked away. So That's not unheard of, but it's also very rare.
Yeah, because with an execution, there's like in a Western, I guess, or I'm guessing hanging was still in the early 20th century too, maybe up to the. Anyways, no, it's not it wouldn't suffocate. It's a drop that's supposed to break your neck.
Break your neck, yes.
Yeah, it's supposed to be humane.
Yeah, well, it's faster than suffocating, which is good.
Because movie strangulation and drowning, which takes 20 to 30 seconds, if that, in real life it's 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, some movies do emphasize that when they want to show how gruesome some of that stuff is. But yeah, most of the time they're like, and you're like, no, it takes a lot more than that.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah. But I mean, it'd be boring to see it every time.
Yes, or you get desensitized to it, and it'd be like, that's horrible. Yeah. Well, because even if you watch Casino Royale, the one with Daniel Craig, when he does his killing, he has that fight in the bathroom and he strangles the guy, and they are flailing around that bathroom. That is 5 minutes of him doing that for that guy to go down.
That's a crazy scene.
That is a crazy scene. And it's also one of the first times you see James Bond, the new James Bond, especially the fact that he's so dark and gritty. But they show what it actually takes to kill someone in that manner.
Yeah. It's not just shooting him and he falls over. One shot, he's down, dead. No blood.
Yeah. A lot of movies are like that. You're like, boom, you're dead. And you're like, No, he's gurgling and spitting and bleeding for his life for a long time.
Most Bond movies, because of PG-13, they can't show blood, so he just one-shots them. They drop instantly. Like, is he hitting? Like, that's not how it works.
What's he hitting? Yeah. But a lot of them also fall off of things too, so maybe it's the fall that kills them.
Yeah, they put the Wilhelm scream in.
I know. Oh,
glad you know what I mean.
Yes, I do know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
So then we go on to Die Hard 2, and which is used to be considered the worst Die Hard movie, but now that's been way surpassed.
Oh yeah. It's the weakest of the first three, I think.
Oh, for sure.
I still really, really like it.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in it.
Oh, so much good stuff.
But also, everything in that movie ages itself so badly. Like him using
smoking in an airport.
Smoking in an airport. That's actually one of the things I noted. In all of the three first movies, he smokes. He's like a chain smoker, and he smokes all the time and everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, because even in the first one, too, he gets off the plane. He's going to get his baggage. He's smoking, you know? And I'm just like, you're in an airport. Why are you smoking?
I think
you have
in
a
the
gun
third
on
one,
a plane. Like, what is happening here?
I think in the third one, he only smokes in the van when they drop him off in Harlem. That's probably the only time I think he smokes in 3.
Is that the only time he smokes in 3?
I think so, unless he smokes near the end. I can't remember. But you're right.
He
1
smokes,
and 2.
He smokes when they get saved from the lake or whatever, and he pulls out to smoke when he's getting on the phone with
Oh really?
Yeah. Yes, he does.
That. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 1 and 2, you're right. It's constant. When he's not killing terrorists, he's smoking.
Yeah, it's all the time.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's one of the things I'm like, he's smoking again. Is a lot of my notes. It's fine.
Yeah.
But the thing that gets me is the beeper, and he's got to go to like the bank of payphones to call. He's like, I don't know who this is, and you're just like, what?
Oh, same with the third one. There's a lot of payphones in it.
Well, that's because they can't. Oh, that's right, because nobody has cell phones.
Yeah. And
they can't use a police banner to call shit out.
But even Simon is sending them to the payphones to solve riddles, like the first 2. Right before and after the subway explosion.
Yes,
sorry, the first 2 before the subway explosion.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, sorry, we're on 2.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, and the faxing and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you guys are killing me right now. Like, this is crazy. But actually, one of the things that upsets me is that he's faxing something and he's circling the swirls on like the fingerprints. And I'm like, it's a fax machine. That shit's not coming through clear. There's no way he can run those prints. What are you talking about?
Well, do you remember he got the fax of the guy he killed in the luggage compartment?
Yeah.
And it's the blurriest photo. It looks nothing like the actor. Like, I don't know if it's actually him and it's just a 1980.
Yeah, and it's and that's, when you think about it the other way around, you have these tiny little lines, that the printer is not going to get.
No.
Especially on a fax machine.
Yeah.
You're like, how was he even able to try and find this? This makes no sense.
Yeah. And I don't know if movies have lied to me, but I thought you couldn't get a print right away, especially not back then. It'd take a while.
Oh yeah, it would take a long time. Yeah, they didn't have proper databases set up and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
because that guy wasn't a criminal. He was an he was mercenary now, but he was an ex-military. So what database were they looking at?
Yeah. Well, he actually mentions what database it was, but I was like,
did they?
I didn't write down which one it was, but apparently he was declassified because he's technically dead. He's been dead for 2 years or something. Okay. Right? So, and that was the thing that perked everybody's ears up. We're like, what do you mean he's dead? Of course he's dead. He's like, no, he's been dead for 2 years.
But Dennis Franz thinks he's just stealing baggage.
Yeah.
He's the most incompetent cop ever in movies.
Exactly.
Movies.
But he's like, I'm like, I understand you're an airport cop, and I know it's a really busy time of year. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, do you see what's happening right now?
Yeah.
There's been a shootout.
He also makes me laugh. Like, he goes from 0 to 10, like, immediately.
He really does. But that's
just constantly, he probably swears the most of any character.
Yeah. All movies. Also, the line that really gets me is, like, I don't know what sets off the metal detectors better. Is the lead in your ass or the shit in your brain? And I'm like, also, neither of these things would send off Metal detectors.
Yeah, not his best line, but I kind of like it.
I was like, what? Makes no sense.
Like, a guy is put into a luggage machine, or a conveyor belt. His head is crushed. Mess everywhere. There'd be blood all over the luggage. And he's like, oh, no, whatever. Just keep going on as usual.
Yeah.
It's Christmas.
One of my notes is, that's how we lose all of our luggage at Christmas. Gotcha. Yeah.
Thanks, McLean.
Yeah. Because they throw shit everywhere, and they're taking stuff.
They're shooting luggage.
Yeah, the thing that actually got me really pissed off, somebody had golf clubs that were just open. There's no way that's getting through anywhere. Nope. What are you talking about? He finds a bike and rides it over.
They have to be covered. Oh, yeah, that's right. That bike seems weird.
Exactly. I have a note that says, where to get the bike? 6 question marks. Like, what the fuck?
Also, when he tackles the guy and then the guy runs away, the cops are immediately, like, have their guns drawn on McLean.
Yeah. Immediately.
Like, it's like they didn't even see the other guy.
Yeah, it's like, there's more than one person. Shouldn't you go after the other person, too? Like, this is how it works. Thank you. So, for the first 3, I think 2 is the most ridiculous, but then I was watching 3. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. He's surfing on a dump truck. He's flying through. Like, there's some ridiculous. I mean, in all of them, I guess. But I mean, 2 still is the most ridiculous. Because it's the. I think overall, I think 2 is the least plausible.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's why it gets the worst rap, because you're just like, does none of this make sense, guys?
I don't care where they go in the world. The the British government will hunt them down for killing 200 of their citizens.
Yeah, they would.
And killing O'Brien, of course.
I mean, he is seriously, if O'Brien was on the ground, he would have figured out the problem and it would have been fine and they would have been saved. So he was just in the wrong place. He's like, no, don't be a pilot. Be the engineer that we know you are.
You could argue Barnes is the tech guy from the Tower. Barnes, I think his name was.
Yeah.
He's the O'Brien of Dulles International Airport.
He sucks. He's a bad O'Brien. Then I'm just saying.
No one can be O'Brien.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways. I don't know. Like, they threw stuff in this that doesn't humanize anybody. You don't care. Like, it's not that you don't care that people are going to die in the planes, but you just don't have that same connection to stuff that was going on in the first movie. You don't feel like that. There's an urgency, but you don't get that, like, oh my God feeling. You know?
It kind of seems like he just wants to get these guys, and he gets lucky at the end that the runway is now lit up and his wife can land.
Yeah.
I don't know if you probably can't remember this because you probably saw it so long ago, but did you notice the clips, the gun clips with the different red tape?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, like I noticed it now, but like the first time you watched it.
I probably didn't notice it the first time.
Yeah, me either. I can't remember. But
I pay a lot of attention to it now. Because you're just
it's so obvious.
Oh yeah, it's red and it's blue. Gotcha. You know? Yeah. And that probably picked up maybe the 3rd or 4th time I watched the movie, not even like the 2nd. But now that I know and now that I recognize it, I can't unsee it.
It's so obvious, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I asked the question. Like the first time I would be like, whoa. But I don't remember. And I was a kid too, so.
It was a huge revelation the first time you saw it. You're just like, they're shooting blanks? They're the bad guys? Oh my God. And like 3 seconds after that, you see how bad they actually are. And you're like, oh my God. Where they killed the communication specialist because he got replaced by the other guy who got like tonsillitis or whatever. And they cut his throat. And you're just like, oh, that's so mean. Yeah. That's not nice at all.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve it.
I do enjoy that they bring back the reporter from the first movie. That guy is such an asshole. Oh,
I love the scene on the plane with Holly McLean. Your name's Dick, isn't it? I'm not saying it right, but she says it with such contempt. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love the stewardess. More champagne, ma'am?
The thing is, I think Bonnie Bedelia is so underrated in her 2 performances in these 2 Die Hard movies.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a big role, but every scene she's in, you're just like, yes, girl. Yes, you show the moves, boss. You do take shit from anybody.
Well, yeah. Going back to the first one, when she's talking to Hans Gruber about like the pregnant lady and people need to use the bathroom, and he's like, "Who put you in charge?" Or what idiot put you in charge? Like, well, you did when you killed my boss. Like, I love it. It's so great.
She says it like it is, and it's true. And actually, one of the things that I noticed, there's a part in the second movie where she's doing work and she's putting away her paperwork, and you can actually see the Nakatomi symbol on the back of her paper, and she puts it away.
Oh, she still works for them.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, I noticed that in this viewing. I never noticed it before.
Wow.
And I was just like,
they're
like, wow, they're keeping like the train, you know, because they still live in LA because he's an LA cop in the second movie.
Yeah.
So she still works for Nakatomi, and they're going to her parents' house who live in DC. So it's a whole triangular thing.
Yeah. I always wondered, like, did they have to get permission from the airport to use their name? And, like, it does not make the airport look good.
I'm pretty sure they have to. Like, they have to get some sort of...
And they had to film... I don't know if they filmed it at that... Like, they must have found an empty airport somewhere, because, like, almost all the movie takes place... Or not all of it, but there's a ton of scenes in airport terminals that are clearly... They're real.
Yeah. But not necessarily. Sometimes people are very good at masking stuff.
But there's a lot of like long shots where you can see like the whole terminal and like speaking of the movie The Terminal with Tom Hanks. Because the whole movie's filmed there, they had to build it, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's the one where he's stuck. He's in between countries and can't leave the
airport.
Yeah, he can't leave departures or something. He has to live there.
Yeah, because it has something to do with his country falls apart.
Yeah, the government gets overthrown.
Yeah, and so technically his paperwork is invalid.
Yeah.
So he can't leave the airport to come onto U.S. soil because he doesn't technically have valid paperwork, but he also can't get on a plane.
Yeah.
Because...
Yeah, it happened to a real guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember what airport it was, but...
Yeah, I mean, I've never watched the movie. I saw the story about the guy the movie was based on.
It's very heartwarming.
I'm not a huge Tom Hanks fan.
What?
I'm going to put that out there.
What about Chet Hanks?
Who the hell is Chet Hanks?
Oh, okay. When this podcast is done, you got to do some Googling about his son, the rapper Chet Hanks. The most white name ever.
No, Colin Hanks is the most white name ever, but...
True, but yeah.
He matches his name.
Yes, but Chet, you got to do a little bit of digging on him. I think John Oliver made fun of him a few months ago, and I was like, who? And so I looked him up.
Oh, wait, wasn't he on the red carpet for something when he started rapping?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, okay. The thing is, I heard the video. I was in the car driving to work, and I heard the video. I've never actually seen the video. So...
I think he acted too. I think he's in like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or something. Like in a small role. I can't remember what, but...
Okay. Yeah, so there's another thing that ruined that movie. It's fine.
Good old Chet.
Chet Hanks. Oh my god.
When I think of a Chet, I feel like a guy at a yacht club with like a sweater tied around him, like being racist to the staff. And
like you can't look at him in the eye and stuff. Yeah.
That's Chet and Chad.
He's just rebelling against the stereotype that was placed upon him. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, I know. He probably gets home, wipes off his tattoos or something, and then puts on his sweater.
I always forget whenever I watch Die Hard 2, I always forget about the opening scene where you see the bad guy in the hotel room. It always makes me giggle.
Why is he naked? I don't understand why he's naked.
I don't know.
But also, the only thing I can think of is just like, oh yeah, Brock Sampson likes to kill people naked. That's all I can think of.
Who's Brock Sampson?
Oh my god, you've never watched The Venture Brothers. That is correct.
Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes of my buddy Fox, but I haven't watched the whole thing.
Yeah, Brock Sampson is like the Venture Brothers, like their bodyguard, the blonde guy. And there's actually like 2 or 3 episodes where he strips naked to go kill bad guys because it's intimidating. And it's really kind of fantastic, and that's all I could think of during that scene. I'm like, oh, he's Brock Sampson, gotcha. That's awesome. But I'm like, he put on clothes to leave. That's not how you do it. Like, what are you doing?
just walking around the airport naked.
Yeah, he's just like, does this intimidate you?
I'm Colonel Stewart. I do what I want.
Yeah, like it looks a little cold.
That guy is in a lot of movies because when I was looking him up, I'm like, I knew he was from Star Trek, and I couldn't remember what. But I'm like, oh, he's in the Green Mile. He's in Shawshank Redemption. His IMDb is like over 100 things.
Yeah, he's a character actor. He's one of those guys that you see in all of the things, but you never remember his name. But when you see him, you're like, oh, it's gonna be good. Yeah. I've
always liked him. I remember him in the Green Mile where he's the father of the 2 girls who were murdered. So he's just like he's at the execution for Michael Clark Duncan, just be like, yeah, try like you took my girls.
Yeah.
and we as the audience know, oh, this is so wrong, but you can't blame him for it because he doesn't know any better. Yeah. Anyways,
I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Great. That movie makes me cry.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to see it?
No.
So they're executing Michael Clark Duncan, who didn't kill those girls. He was actually trying to save them because he has magic healing powers. So he found them and tried to save them. No, it was actually Sam Rockwell who killed them. Anyways, and you see Barry Pepper, the actor, like he's pulling the switch and he's just bawling, and it always gets me every time.
Yeah,
it's I don't know. I don't know if you don't like prison movies, maybe you wouldn't like it, but it's such a good movie. Especially if you like Sam Rockwell. He plays like a crazy prisoner.
I do like Sam Rockwell a lot,
I do too.
Actually.
He's good in everything.
He really is, and I like. It's taken a long time for people to get his name, but everything he's been in, like one of my favorite movies by him, that he's like a main character in, is Gentlemen Broncos, which is a very small movie that a lot of people haven't seen, and it is weird as fuck.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Try and find that movie. I can sort of explain it to you, but my explanation will never do it justice.
Okay.
Because it's a story about this kid who writes a story, and he wants to be a science fiction writer, and he goes to this writing convention, and he's going to meet his favorite science fiction author, and they have a thing where you can give him your stories, and he'll read it, and he'll give you edits, and he'll give you ideas and all that kind of stuff. So he does this, but what happens is his this author takes his story and makes it his own and publishes a book with it. And the character Sam Rockwell plays is they're going through the story that's in the book, but they're doing it the version that the kid does and the version that is done by the science fiction author. And he plays the hero in the both versions of this book.
Okay.
And it is just so fucked up. Like, it is so not like it's not fucked up in like an offensive, gory, like, oh my God way, but more like what is going on? What is that? What did you just say? This is so weird. Like, it's you're very entertained by all of this, but you're still like, I don't know what's happening. This is so weird. But it's such a good movie, and it's like well put together, and it's really sweet, and you'll recognize most of the faces in the movie as well. And like, it's just enjoyable. It's just really enjoyable.
A Gentleman Bronco?
Gentlemen Broncos, yes.
Okay. I'll look it up after this. See if it's on anything I have.
I found it on anything.
For him, it's he was in Charlie's Angels, and I think he's like the rich guy who hires them to solve something, but it turns out he's the bad guy, and him and Drew Barrymore just had sex. And then when he turns to the bad guy, he pulls a cigarette, he starts doing this like evil dance, and then he shoots her in the head. That scene is amazing. It's all because of him.
So
that's the first time I ever remember seeing him in something, I think.
I'm pretty sure that's the second movie. That's the second Charlie's Angels movie, right?
I think it's the first one.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw one of them once, and I never saw any others.
They're really stupid, but I mean, I haven't seen them in a while. They're kind of fun.
Because I saw the one with the Back to the Future dad.
I know who you mean.
Yeah.
He would steal their hair and sniff it. It was so weird.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right now either. Yeah. But I also Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, which was an underrated movie, but actually quite enjoyable.
Oh, that's where he's the game show host, right?
Yeah.
Chuck Berry, or not Chuck Berry. Anyways, he's based off a real guy.
Yeah.
That movie's great.
Yeah, he created like the Gong Show and stuff.
Yeah, but he also claimed he worked for the CIA and was killing people and probably bullshit.
And it's like the movie really doesn't answer any questions because you're like, wait, is he crazy or was he actually doing stuff? And then you're like, the way the movie, I guess because they don't really know what the actual answer is. Mm-hmm. There are reports saying that he did do stuff for the CIA. There are reports saying that he doesn't and all this kind of stuff. They've investigated and all that kind of stuff. And that was one of the reasons why they made this movie. You're just like, how could a game show host and creator be part of the CIA? This is weird. Yeah. But he's also kind of delusional, and they kind of show both of those parts. And by the end of the movie, you're like, you like the character, you see what he's done his whole life, but at the same time, you're just like, I know for sure he made game shows. I still don't understand the second part. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. Why would a spy agency use a famous person to do anything? You want to hire people who like don't stand out in a crowd and like don't draw attention to themselves, and like it just doesn't. Anyway.
Yeah, but think about James Bond though. Like everywhere he goes, he announces who he is. People know who he is when he shows up, but he's still an international spy who gets shit done. So it's kind of on that aspect of things.
James Bond isn't real.
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah, that's just part of the fun of the movies.
Yeah, but I think that's also one of the reasons why they thought he was crazy, because they point out James Bond to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm like that guy." And they're like, "No, you're not. You're a crazy person." So who knows? Yeah.
One thing I don't get about Die Hard 2 is so the planes low on fuel have to circle for at least an hour or a couple hours, right? Mm-hmm. There are so many airports close to Washington. You have like New York, Boston, Baltimore. Like I know there's a storm, but why couldn't they go to any one of them if they had a couple hours?
Well, they said if you were beyond the outer marker, you're gonna, because they thought it was something they were gonna get resolved quickly when things shut down. So if you're inside, come to our airport. But if anybody's outside, it goes everywhere else, because they have hundreds of planes coming in, right?
At the end, there's like five or six.
There's like 5 or 6. It's really not that many. But I think what they did made sense. But at a certain point, I also would have had the airplanes be like, you have 3 hours of fuel. It takes 2 hours or an hour to get here. Go over there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Because they're in the sky for a while.
They are. They're there.
Especially if John had time to go to like an old church off-site and come back.
Well, they said it was close by, but getting in and out of an airport takes like 40 minutes.
Yeah, the janitor doesn't have tunnels to the airport. To the church. So
yeah, and he's all running through the whole bottom of the airport and stuff. And Dulles Airport is huge. Mm-hmm. It is huge. Yeah. So he isn't running short distances or anything.
Yeah. Oh, did you know who the air traffic controller guy was? Like, I think his name's Trudeau.
Didn't he become a politician?
Yes, exactly.
He tried to become president at some point.
He ran for president as a Republican.
Yeah, and he was a giant joke. Yes.
Yeah, I think he was a congressman or a senator or something, and then he became president. But he didn't go anywhere.
Look, if Jesse Ventura can do it, if Schwarzenegger can do it, that guy can do it. It's fine. Yeah. You already had an actor as president of the States, so you can do it. It's okay. And
he was the best president. No, I'm just kidding. I don't mean that. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Reagan sucks.
Yeah. People are finally admitting to that, which took a surprisingly long time to get around to. But I mean, if you weren't poor or black, it really didn't matter that much, right? It didn't make any difference to you.
Yeah.
So, it's fine. True. I also love on the plane when they turn on the TV, they start with a Simpsons episode.
Yes, I noticed that, and it was Dr. What's the psychiatrist's name?
Dr. Marvin Monroe.
I think it was the episode where they're going to zap each other.
Yeah,
right?
I looked up the episode number. I was actually surprisingly quick. I was just like, this is definitely episode 1, season 1, very early on, Marvin Monroe. I just went to IMDb, scrolled it took like a millisecond because it's just the 4th episode of the first season.
Wow.
And it's called There's No Disgrace Like Home.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when they decide to have like family therapy and they shock each other and stuff. And that is just a perfect scene to start on. It was so good.
Do you remember the days of airplanes where everyone would watch the same thing?
Yeah.
I remember watching go back to Bond. I remember watching Goldeneye on a flight to England.
Yeah.
And the opening scene where the airplane goes off the cliff and has to, they cut all that shit out. It was just all of a sudden the airplane coming out of the crevasse or whatever.
Yeah, they're like, everything's fine. There it goes.
Good job, Bond.
Yeah, now you can change channels and have to pay to watch movies, and you got to pay for headphones because your own headphones don't fit in the jacks anymore, and all this kind of. You're like, seriously, dude, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even really have that much to say about the second movie. It was just there.
It's definitely the one where the bad guys had the worst aim.
Yeah.
He is fired at by so many different times. Sorry, at so many different times by machine guns in this one,
and so many people at the same time as well.
Yeah, it's insane. I love the action sequence in the plane after Esperanza whatever lands and they start throwing in the grenades.
Yeah.
But those are also some very slow-ass grenades.
Right, that's what I was thinking, because they all waited until all the grenades were in to explode.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm sorry, we know grenades are like 4 or 5 seconds after you let go. Yeah. Like, that's why you throw and you run. That's the whole purpose of it. And they're like throwing them in there. They're just unclipping, throwing, taking their sweet ass time, and they're just sitting there. And John McClane has time to be like, "What's happening? Look, there's lots of grenades."
He gets in a chair, buckles up, and then pulls the.
Yeah, and I was just like, no. After you throw that first one grenade, that shit's been exploded 10 minutes ago. Why are you still throwing grenades? It's fine.
Yeah. Also, I want to say that young soldier on the plane guarding the general. Mm-hmm. How did he get that close to him to strangle him? He really dropped the ball.
He really did. I mean, at least it took him a while for him to. He did get him close enough one time previously to light a cigarette.
Yeah.
So maybe he was just biding his time, being nice to the kid, and be like, "Oh, I'd like another one if possible." He came close again, and then strangled him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also kind of wish we saw more of Esperanza because I found him very interesting.
Yeah,
but they don't really utilize him very much.
No.
Yeah.
Like they make him the pilot of the plane at the end, so he has something to do.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, you're not just a regular dictator, sure. Yeah. But a lot of dictators come through the military. They're going to have some sort of training in doing something, so it's fine.
The other thing is the motivations of the soldiers. I don't know why they would. Do none of these people have families? Like the ones working for Colonel Stewart and then the ones working for like the special forces guys that come in later.
I guess not.
It's like
I don't know.
They could never live in the States again. Like it just seems anyways. And then they all agreed to do this too. Like how did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know, something in Grenada apparently.
Yeah. They mentioned that they're not fighting. The U.S. isn't fighting communism anymore, and this general is. And
their life sucks, and they're going to a place with no extradition treaty. And do they have? Is there money involved in this one? I don't remember there being money involved in this one.
Oh, I think you're right. I think they're just trying to get away from or get him out of the States.
Right? Yeah. So I guess they're going to work off of whatever money that guy has.
This is the only non-heist one, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the bad guys are doing in 5.
They're trying to get, because isn't it like Anthony Hopkins or not Anthony Hopkins? Yeah, who played Hannibal Lecter? Not Anthony Hopkins. What's his name?
Mads Mikkelsen or
no, what?
He played Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, but in I'm thinking of Silence of the Lambs, not the TV show. Anyways, but he's
in Die Hard 5.
Yeah, he's a crazy old scientist or something, and they are trying to get him. What is it called? Wow. A Good Day to Die Hard?
I think so. Oh, I do not remember that at all.
Am I thinking of the wrong? I might be thinking of the wrong movie because he's not listed here.
Yeah, I don't think Anthony Hopkins is in the Die Hard movie because he'd be top billing.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking of the wrong movie because there's some movie where he plays a crazy nuclear scientist who's gone mad, and they rescue him and they take him somewhere, and it turns out he's not crazy. He just wants to get back to there so we can blow everybody up. But I might be thinking of the wrong movie. Okay. I think I'm obviously thinking of the wrong movie because he's not listed.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think of what movie that could possibly be. Jeez.
Yeah, and going through his IMDb list will take a while. He has so many credits.
It is Anthony Hopkins. I was saying his name right. I'm not crazy.
Wait, he's in Die Hard 5?
No.
Oh.
No, I looked up Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, his name is Anthony Hopkins. I don't understand why I always think I'm saying his name wrong. Because I think I used to get his name confused with the guy who was in Speed, the bad guy in Speed.
Oh, Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper. I think I always used to confuse their names, and now every time I say either one of them names, I was like, no, that's wrong. It's got to be something else. And I'm like, no, you said it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never gonna figure this out, am I? I'm trying. I mean,
just 10 minutes
okay.
to there.
Right? I mean, I gotta say, like, he hasn't been in a Die Hard movie, but he was in Transformers, so
yes.
we can't.
Yes, he was.
We can't do anything about that. Maybe is it?
The only movie I can think of that you're thinking of, I remember there's a Keanu Reeves movie, Chain Reaction, and I think it's Morgan Freeman who's the crazy scientist.
Nope, it's Red 2. It's Red 2.
Oh, that's with Bruce Willis, right?
Yeah.
That's where they're all aging spies. That's right.
Yes. The first Red movie is really good.
Yeah.
The second movie is garbage.
No, I saw it in theaters. It was not good.
But this also explains why the confusion, because it's also
Bruce.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Okay, that didn't take too long. That's fine. I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't have that many notes except yelling T-1000 and look, it's O'Brien. And then I don't know, shit blows up and people get shot, and I'm like, that's ludicrous.
I love when he bites the guy's finger off.
Oh my god!
We have a plane.
It's so horrible. The thing is they like, people don't realize that they can physically bite through other people's flesh and their own flesh, but because of pain receptors and our built-in mechanism not to do that, we don't. Yeah. But, if you got a joint between a bone, that's just like biting a piece of chicken, you can go right through it. That's what our teeth are made for. And when you think about that, you're just like, oh, wow. Oh, no.
I also like the Special Forces guy. He's like, I kind of liked you, McLean. He's like, I got enough friends. Yeah. Kicks him into the engine. Classic. I love it.
Which also doesn't make any sense, because for a fact a seagull can pull down a plane if it goes through there. Imagine like a large man in gear going through that thing. You're like, what? Yeah. His feet would get stuck. It would stop rotating, and he'd just be screaming in pain for the next rest of his life.
Yeah.
That's what would happen. Ugh.
Yeah, and then those planes could not land because there'd be no explosion.
Right? And the other thing was that Mythbusters debunked the lighting fuel on fire and catching up to things. Or like that's not a thing. That doesn't work, especially with gasoline from pumps. Like that's not how that works, guys.
Oh, wait. Why doesn't it work? Is it because it's moving and then there'd be breaks in between it? That doesn't make sense. But because I know jet fuel is super flammable.
Yes.
But so do you remember why it didn't work?
It doesn't catch up fast enough, because you know how it's they fly off and it goes into the air and catches them and blows up. Yeah. So the burn doesn't move fast enough.
Okay.
And one of the fuels they tried just explodes everything in a millisecond. It was bleh, so it doesn't trail. And then one of the fuels didn't actually catch at all easily. If you just put a lighter to it, you have to flame it for a while, then it catches, and then it just burns a section. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I should look up what episode that's on, but they do that whole thing. They're like, none of this matches anything we've ever seen in any movie ever. So, or a car bumps into a bumper and it explodes. They're like, that doesn't happen either, guys. Just letting you know.
One last thing I want to say about this movie is I just thought of it. we're talking about explosions. The plane crash when O'Brien's plane goes down is so good.
Yeah.
It's models, I think, and wow, it looks great.
Well, that's the thing. They don't just let it explode. They're like, no, you can see like the tires buckle, and then the nose breaks off, then it starts to spin, then the wing sets on fire, and then it explodes, and you're like, oh, there's an actual like reaction happening there. It's not like touch ground and boosh. Yeah. You know? So
you watch the model break apart, and it looks, I mean, I don't know if it looks real, but it looks great.
Yeah. It ages well. Like, and I think that's the best about like more practical, like working with practical effects and just putting bits of digital around it compared to just purely digital effects.
Like if I compare it to a movie like Air Force One with Harrison Ford, I don't know why it's popped in my head. The Air Force One crashes into the ocean at the end, and it's all digital, and it looks like shit. It even looks like shit back then. Yeah, I couldn't imagine now what it looks like.
Yeah,
but I remember William H. Macy standing in the door, and he's like, and then just crashed in the ocean.
Wait, it's not William H. Macy, is it?
Yeah. Well, he's not a bad guy. He there's only like one escape pod, so he gives it to the president.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's like his Secretary of Defense or something.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly,
but he plays. Yeah, he's a president who was part of the military and knew how to kick some terrorist ass. You know, Gary Oldman went down. Good.
I thought of Air Force One forever. It's fucked me.
Yeah. It's good. Okay, so I'll go through my Christmas references in this one. So at the beginning, he's getting a ticket at the airport. Mm-hmm. Come on, it's Christmas. Then there's decor and music inside the airport. Yeah. The bad guy's walking around with presents. Oh, it does. Mm-hmm. It is Christmas week because in an airport on Christmas week. I think that's a line somebody says. Yes.
Yeah. That's where I got it from.
Yeah, but then later on, somebody else says, hell of a start for Christmas Eve.
Oh. Maybe it's the day before Christmas and then it's after midnight.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
No, that's actually totally possible. So it could have just like crossed over.
Oh, sorry. One thing we did not mention is, why do movies and TV keep thinking that people have Christmas parties on Christmas Eve?
I have no idea.
I've never ever seen that in real life. And
because nobody wants to be at an office Christmas party till 10 p.m. or midnight on Christmas Eve. We got families to go to.
You got to drive to see them, or in another state or province. Like.
Yeah, it's at least a week, 2 weeks beforehand, easily. Yeah.
Like ours are always the second week of December usually.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Christmas. Yeah. Way before Christmas Eve. Anyway, sorry. You went through the list.
No, it's fine. The next one is they're going into a duct about wanting a regular Christmas. He starts complaining. He's like, why can't I just have a regular Christmas? Have whatever. He starts bitching about it. Vito says Merry Christmas at the end and let it snow in the end credits.
Oh, Vito.
Those are the references.
Yeah.
So there's 8 in that one.
I can't wait to hear the next movie's references.
Yeah. They're there. And it's quite fantastic. Now,
I've seen that movie so many times, and I can't think of any.
I like when I started doing this. I started doing this on purpose because I remembered 2 specific scenes in With a Vengeance about Christmas, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe there's probably more. This is why this keeps popping into my head that I watch With a Vengeance during Christmas season as well because I'm like. Mm-hmm. It's part of the Christmas time for me. Yeah. And it's because it does make references to Christmas within it. And it goes with the rest of the movies. It's fine. Yeah. So this one starts with Summer in the City. Nice and intense. I love the opening of this movie. It's great.
One of my favorite openings of any movie ever. Because I was lucky enough. I was at what year is this?
1995.
So I was 12 or 13, and I was at a friend's birthday party, and his parents drove us to it. I don't know how we saw this movie at that age.
But you should not have seen that movie.
No, but man, we were laughing, having the best time. Like that's gotta be the first movie I saw in theaters with so many F-bombs and like, the violence. I remember the guy getting cut in half when they're both.
Yeah.
We just were dying laughing. Like this is. Yeah. Like I can't believe I'm watching this. And but that opening scene, it's like it just starts and it doesn't let up. Like I love the song because of that movie now.
Yep, it's a great song, and it's just because, and the thing is too, it's just like it's so like intense, and it puts you in that like that hot city movement, you know, because even if you're not in New York, if you're in like any big city, like Toronto, London, you know, Paris, there's people moving around. It gets hot, it gets sweaty, it gets sticky, it's concrete, you know. And you have that like suffocating, but you also love the fact that it's sunshine and there's now trees and you can be outside. And it just shows like this long thing of just like being about the city, just being cool, being, you know, doing what you got to do because it's the hustle. And then boom, explosion, everything stops.
Out of nowhere. And I love that explosion.
It's fantastic.
The car and the truck just flipping over. Oh, it's so great.
It's so good. Yeah, it is definitely one of the better openings of a movie like out there in general. I love it. And the thing about all of the Die Hard movies too is the actual title credit is always so simple and so plain. It's just like Die Hard.
Yeah, and they crash together and then the song starts. It's like doo 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 doo, and then the song starts. Like, it's the best.
You'll love it.
I've been watching the opening scene many times, like just on YouTube or
and it gets you in like that kind of like tense, hyper mood. You know what I mean? It's such a perfect start off. Yeah,
I think this is one of the best movies about New York ever made. Like you get a feel for a huge part of the city.
Yes, the city is definitely a character.
Exactly, a great way to put it.
Yeah, because even from like them from getting from one end to the other, they talk about the different districts. They talk about how they're going from one place to the other, how like dank the subway is, and they're getting on the subway car, and the different characters on the subway. I love when he's running through and he's checking for stuff, and that everybody's like, "What the fuck?" And that one lady screams, and I'm like, "Ah!" You know, and he's like, "Shit, sorry, relax." Like, and he's going, and you just like see all of the people, and you're just like. The one thing I do not believe would happen if he was like, I'm a police officer, go to the front. I'm like, it's New York. Nobody's listening to you.
Well, they also start moving to the front before he finishes his sentence. So he's carrying the bomb, and then you can see people getting up and moving, and he hasn't finished his sentence. They don't know what he's going to say.
But like, honestly, if that was that was actual New Yorkers on there, and nobody told them, hey, he's going to say this, make sure to go to the front.
Yeah.
They would have been just like, fuck you, dude, whatever. You know, I'll be like, I have a bomb. They're like, everybody's got a bomb, guys. Like,
there's also no way nobody would die in that. Like, two or three subway cars get off the track, go onto the platform, and crash into the wall. Like, all three of those could have been empty.
I don't think they said nobody died.
Yes, they do. Graham Greene afterwards is like, pacemaker stopped, a woman's water broke, but he's like, just cut some bruises.
Minor injury? Really?
Yeah,
I didn't pick up on that. I just assumed people died.
Yeah. Oh. No, it's always bugged me.
For good reason, because...
This is why I couldn't sleep last night.
They're like, I can't sleep, man. I'm thinking about these poor people that they just ignored on this platform. Yeah. But it's true. Like, if there were people on the platform, you know, there's 3 cars, not one car gets blown up. The whole train gets, you know, tossed to the side and everything. And
it's such a cool scene, too. Another great explosion.
It really is. It's fantastic.
I never got this before. I got so many 9/11 vibes from this viewing. Yeah. Because, like, especially, like, in the subway explosion, when all the dust comes out from the subway and the hole, and then it's just dusty and grimy and dirty. Yeah. And it just reminded me of 9/11.
But they actually make reference. So before 9/11, remember there was another explosion in the parking garage there, and they actually make reference in the movie where they say they're like, remember that the mess it was when at the World Trade Center. Like they actually say that in there. Yeah. But this happens, you know, 6 years before 9/11, and so now that you watch it, you're just like, this has a much deeper, and you know, I could see people having sort of like. PTSD watching this if they were anywhere near there or, you know, around that when it happened.
Yeah, because you can constantly see the 2 towers in the background, and like that scene where they're running to the park to do the elephant, the elephant fountain, and you just see the towers in the back. I don't know what street they're running down, but right at the end of the street, you can see the 2 towers, And that's one of my favorite lines in the movie. He's like, I'm in this because some white cop threw some white asshole's brother off a roof.
It's true. I mean, it's true.
This is one of my faveite characters ever.
He says it like it is, and it's very true.
Oh my god!
So, but that's the thing. Like getting rid of the World Trade Center really destroyed part of the skyline of New York City because it was such a prominent part of what the city was, right?
Yeah.
So, you watch anything before 2001 and you see them in there, and automatically you see them, you're just like, you automatically get that feeling that like, oh, you start remembering what happened and how it changed and all this kind of stuff because it was in all of those New York movies, like it had to be there because if you didn't show it, then you kind of weren't in New York. You could have been anywhere. Yeah,
just imagine one day we wake up and the CN Tower's not there.
Right?
Like, it just would be like so weird.
I know, but I mean, that building was built within our parents' generation. Yeah. So they lived in a city where that didn't exist before. But for us, if that disappears, you're like, this isn't Toronto anymore. You're like, this doesn't make any sense. Or like if they get rid of the Sky Dome, you're like, if the Sky Dome's not here, it's not Toronto anymore. But the Sky Dome is quote unquote relatively new, but
actually, I kind of wish they would get rid of the Sky Dome. They need to build a better stadium. I've been to other baseball. I'm a baseball fan, and going to other stadiums now, I'm like, ours is bad.
Yeah, I love the Sky Dome.
It's all concrete.
It is all concrete, though.
Yeah, I mean, I still like going. I have some love for it, but.
Yeah, but one of the reasons why they did it that way was it has more to do with the weather in Toronto than anything else.
Well,
why they did that
baseball
kind of
podcast, but the stadium in I think it's Seattle is also a dome, so it opens and closes, and there's a waterfall inside. Like they spent a lot of money to make it look nice inside, and we did not do that.
That is.
I mean, it's also 30, 40 years old now.
Yeah, but we were busy about the big jumbotron. I remember the jumbotron being a huge thing.
Now we just take it for granted.
Yeah, they're just like everybody has that now. Who cares?
That's back when TVs were 10 inches. It's like, look at this.
yeah. Like 'cause that's the thing. Like you see some of this stuff, and you kind of forget that like the Sky Dome was a huge deal because it was one of the first ones that has an opening roof. It has a jumbotron. It had all of these things that a bunch of other stadiums never had before. Yeah. And then newer stadiums took what was made there and, of course, redid it with technology and new materials and all that kind of stuff moving forward. They were able to build on top of that and make it better. But I still have a soft spot for the Sky Dome.
Yeah,
I love the Sky Dome. And I like the fact that... Go ahead.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, I like the fact that despite they've tried to change, they've changed the name of the building many, many times, but they've never changed the seating inside, and stickers keep falling off where it says Sky Dome. I'm like, it still says Sky Dome under there. I can see it. Yeah. Still the Sky Dome. Love you. Yeah.
I did not call it the Rogers Center. I do sometimes, but.
Yeah. No, when I'm talking to people and they're just like, where? I'm like, the Rogers Center. I'm like, because most people who live in the city are like, you say Sky Dome, they know exactly what you mean. But if it's somebody visiting asking for directions, they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I work really close to the ACC, but I can't remember what the new name of it is. Like I always call it the Air Canada Center.
It's Scotiabank Arena?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think. And then the Budweiser theater, I don't call it that. I call it
the amphitheater.
Amphitheater.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I had a sponsor.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. So yeah, you always end up sticking with the first name you know something of. So yeah, there's tons of people who still call it the ACC. I'm like, that's what it is. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Oh, and to bring it back to Die Hard, how did Zeus get into the Yankee Stadium? You can't just wander in when there's no game going on.
Who knows? Like that scene just seemed really, really weird. Like I know McClane was supposed to be there and was supposed to make it more interesting, but it just seemed very out of place for what was going on in the rest of the movie.
Simon's other stuff was so clever, and then it's just game over.
Yeah. Well, he was just supposed to show up and get shot in the head. So
they still would have missed.
Yeah, they probably would have, even if he got there.
3 seats in front of him would have got shot, and he's like,
yeah. But I love the fact that like he's at Yankee Stadium. It's clearly a bright and sunny day. 2 seconds later, they're outside and it's pouring rain.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, is this the same day? I don't know what's happening. What's going on? I mean,
it's possible, but yeah, and I noticed that too.
Yeah. Actually, talking about Zeus. So at one point in time, Simon calls Zeus an ebony Samaritan, and I was like, that's not necessary. No. That was my first thought. But he also does a lot of inappropriate. He calls him boy, and he's like, don't call him boy, and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, it was my attempted humor. But obviously, he doesn't understand. He's German, and he doesn't understand the racial, like the black and white thing in North America. Like that's a huge, huge thing in North America, where it's not as a big deal other places. So maybe that's what it is. But also, like calling him an ebony Samaritan is like calling tuna fish, because Samaria wasn't it part of Africa, and weren't Samaritans black? It's a Bible story. Like,
I don't know.
Well, it's a as far as I know, it's a Bible story, and Samaria would have been part of
maybe the Middle East or Africa.
Yeah, so they would have been black anyways. So you're just like,
but Jesus is blonde and blue eyes. What do you I don't understand?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems. Like I've had arguments about like
the biggest whitewashing ever.
Yeah, I had an argument once with somebody in high school that Cleopatra was black. She was an African queen, and they're like, no, she's white. I'm like, no, how could she be white? They're like, I saw Cleopatra. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with you? She's not white. She's an African queen. She's a black woman. Like,
and she was born in Egypt, right? Like she wasn't like a European who married into it. I'm pretty sure she was born in Egypt.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that drives me crazy, where I'm like, I like, and they talk about cultural appropriation, and they talk about whitewashing stuff, and this is what happens. People don't believe our histories. Like somebody actually put out an article the other day that I was gonna read, but I kind of refused to believe, not believe, but refuse to read, because I know this. But they're like, no, the title was "No, You're Wrong. African cultures are not built on slavery." Because they're not. And I think it's really funny that they think black people weren't alive before slavery happened, or they didn't have societies. I'm like, no, slavery broke down well ingrained societies and well-known societies, ripped them apart, and put them somewhere else, stripping them of their culture and their heritage. They had their own culture and heritage before they showed up. People existed before white people showed up.
So is this Americans saying their black culture starts when they came to America? Like, is that what they're saying?
No. So from what I read, I only read like a paragraph, but what had happened is this person who was having a discussion, and apparently they're white, or there are people that believe that African cultures are based on slavery.
Okay.
Right? So without them being slaves, these cultures wouldn't exist, sort of thing. That's what it's built out of.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, no, African culture and slave culture are two different things, right? Because in Africa, like I said, there were societies and cities and cultures that were pillaged and destroyed, and people taken away. They were stripped of their heritage. They were stripped of, there were kings and queens and all that kind of stuff who had money and wealth and power, all of that taken away from them. And they were thrown in plantations and, taken their heritage taken away and forgotten about, because they weren't allowed to teach their kids about their past and their history and all that kind of stuff. And then a certain type of culture came out of that, right? Okay. So that happened. But people believe that without slavery, there wouldn't be black, like African cultures. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, how could you possibly think that?
I mean, they're not saying that slavery didn't exist in Africa, right? Like
no, that's not.
Egyptians are a great example where they build everything with slave labor force.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't realize that slavery didn't start with the pillaging of Africa. It was one of the worst and most horrendous events. It's just like genocide didn't start with World War II. Yeah. It was just one of the most recent horrific and horrible events. it happened before that. But the difference is that slavery before that time period, and the reason why we call, this particular thing slavery is because we live in North America, and it was the thing that North America was built on, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
in Canada too, people forget there was slaves in Canada.
Forget. There were tons of slaves in Canada.
We try to be mightier than the States, but Britain ended slavery before the States did, but there was a lot of slave labor in Canada.
But it still happened, right? They also enslaved the Native Americans. They also took away their land. They did all of these horrible things. Talking about genocide, that's also there as well, right? But the thing is that slaves were whoever an army conquered, right? Yeah. If you were an enemy, you were captured, you became a slave. So you could have been
Roman slaves was like that.
Yeah, you could be any kind of color under the rainbow, white, green, brown, whatever. You were a slave because you were captured. But the thing is, if you go to a continent that is mostly black people, which the term black and white, whatever, was created to separate us, when you take them and you take all of them at the same time and bring them over, and these people of this color are the ones that will do work for you, and anybody who's not that color is free to do whatever they want, that's when you create that kind of culture, right? Okay. So and that's the people don't realize, I'm like, there were other slaves out there. You watch things like you said, Gladiator, you see the slave labor of the Roman Empire, and people are just like, oh, whatever. You're like, no, that's a big thing, right? Yeah. Genghis Khan had slaves. He just went in a different direction. Yeah. Xerxes had slaves. He went all over the place. Whoever he gathered who wasn't Alexander the Great was the same thing. Like, they all were slave culture based, right? But all big societies are based on that, because you can't build something if you don't have people to build.
Well, I mean, most ancient civilizations were built on the backs of slaves.
Yeah, because you have.
I'm watching a Viking show on Netflix right now, and not Vikings, the other one, Last Kingdom, and they had slaves too. It was white people enslaving other white people. Yeah, because they had conquered and raped and pillaged their other village or whatever. They take the women and take the children. You kill as many men as you can, and then you subjugate the rest. And
because if you keep the people who are strong, there's likely to be a revolt. And if you separate the children, then you could teach them your culture and get rid of their culture and all that kind of stuff. So, and people are more likely not to change if they stay where they know, if you know what I mean, right? No matter how horrible it is, you're like, but this is what life is. This is the life that I know, and this is what I'm going to stick with. Yeah. So, and a lot of people forget that. They're like, no, culture only started when America started. You're like, no, there was a whole lot before that. So
a lot.
you need to remember that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So anyways, back to Sam Jackson being awesome in this movie.
He's so good.
He's
so funny.
He's so fun. And the faces he makes when McClane does anything like ridiculous. Yeah. Like especially that drive through Central Park, and he's just like clutching everything.
Not even God knows what you're doing.
But it's true. I've been like, this man is just trying to kill us. We're gonna die.
Are you aiming for these people? Like it's so funny.
I know. And the search for the bomb starts at 11:45 a.m. All that shit happened before noon. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
And he's hungover with a hangover. He's hungover. And I love someone at the police station says, John, beer is taken internally. Like, it just reeks of booze and cigarettes.
Well, I mean, he was suspended. They don't say for what, but he was suspended. And he's just been apparently home drinking his face off because he's all depressed because his wife left him again.
Yeah. Yeah, he says smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo, I think. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Which also they mentioned Captain Kangaroo in Pulp Fiction.
Do they?
Yeah, when he's driving before he runs over Ving Rhames, there's a song on the radio and it's talking about Captain Kangaroo.
Oh.
Yeah, I love Pulp Fiction, so it made me think of that.
Yeah, no, I didn't. That did not pop into my mind at all.
Yeah,
but it did remind me.
Maybe he's referencing the song. I can't remember what the name of the song is, but in Die Hard 3 he might be referencing the song.
Wait, did Pulp Fiction come out before Die
Hard? Pulp Fiction is 92 or 3, I think. It's the same year as Jurassic Park or Forrest Gump, whatever. So early 90s.
Well, that's 93, I think.
Yeah. Okay, 93.
Yeah, 94. It was the year before.
Okay.
Yeah. What year? There's one year. Was it 94 or?
I think the year of Jurassic Park and like so many great movies.
Yeah, and they all came out in the same summer.
Yeah.
And they're like all of the greatest movies like ever made.
Yeah.
You know,
like that might be why I love movies so much, because I probably saw a ton of them and like.
Yeah, that would have been a proper age to see all of those movies, right? Yeah. I remember seeing Jurassic Park in the theater. It was an experience.
Oh, I saw it multiple times. That's probably the first movie. Oh no, maybe Home Alone when I was younger, but it's one of the first movies I remember. Like, can we go see this again? Can we see it again, please? I couldn't drive yet, so bugging my dad or bugging my friend's parents.
Yeah, no, we never saw a movie more than once in the theater. Just had to wait till it came on TV.
Yeah.
And when that was like years at that point in time. It was like 3 or 4 years before you saw it on TV at any point in time, because they did a full circuit. It was in the theater, and if it's really popular, it's in the theater for like a year. Then it goes to VHS or DVD, and then it's on that for like 2 years, and then it comes to TV. So there were so many movies I saw once and then had to wait years before I saw it again.
Well, can you imagine like in the 70s if you missed Star Wars, like, or you just saw it once or twice in the theater, you had to wait a long time till you could probably afford a VHS and watch it again.
Yeah.
Or if it was on TV, it'd be an event because you haven't seen it since.
Yeah. And there's no PVR, there's no recording. You gotta be home on your couch sitting there to watch this thing, or else you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point with Star Trek where I'm watching episodes of Deep Space Nine and Voyager I've never seen because I must have missed them and didn't catch them in syndication. So I'm like, yeah, new Star Trek. I love this. Yeah.
No, definitely like Voyager, like 99% of those movies I've watched, 99% of the episodes I have definitely seen. Like it triggers a memory, but there's definitely every once in a while I'm just like, what? Yeah. But I remember Deep Space Nine. I like especially everything after, spoiler alert, Jadzia dies. Mm-hmm. I watched like 3 episodes in that. I was like, fuck you guys. They were going to have Klingon troll babies. You ruined everything. You suck. And then she went on to do that show Becker or something. And I was like, what?
With Ted Danson?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she was on that. Yeah. I've never seen it.
She was the main girl in it.
Do you know why she left?
She left to do that show.
No, but also because Rick Berman apparently is a sexist and was constantly putting her into like bikinis and saying weird things.
Well, yes,
like,
they did.
Yeah, because I've always liked Rick Berman, but the more I've been learning about it, I'm like, fuck.
Well, one of the things about her is that when you meet her, that's not the first time you meet a Trill, right? You meet Trills in TNG, but Trills, when you meet them in TNG, they had like a thing in the middle of their face, like whatever. And the reason
no spots.
And no spots. And the reason why they changed it is they said she was too beautiful to cover her face. So they had to do something else to separate her from being human, but being a Trill. And people were just like, oh, people forgot what Trills are. It's fine. Just whatever. And that's what they did. So maybe this sort of feeds into that. They're like, oh, she's pretty. Let's do this. Let's do that. But there's definitely several episodes where she's in skimpy outfits.
Yeah, I just watched one the other day. Her and Kira are in the holosuite, and they're both in bikinis. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. There's a episode where they go to some like planet. No, it's Ryza. They go to Ryza, and she's trying to talk Worf into putting on Speedos, and she's just like in a little iridescent, like it's a one-piece bathing suit, but it's clear like she's the only one in the scene in a bathing suit. And
does Zia have a Horgon?
Why?
Remember the Horgon from
yes,
Riker gives it to Picard.
No, Riker fools him into buying one on Riser. Yes. And people keep asking him if he needs help with things, and he's like, fuck off. Like, what's your problem? Like, what do they call it? A Maharaj or?
Oh, it's a Horgon.
No, yeah, but they keep asking if he wants to.
Oh, sorry, you're right. It's to symbolize I want to do, or telling people I want to do. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and they call it like something.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, that's so wrong.
Ricker, you little Dickens.
I know, it's so scandalous, so scandalous. Yeah. But yes, it's great.
Isn't it funny? We're just talking about slavery, and now we're talking about Star Trek.
I mean, everything comes back to Star Trek for us. It's fine.
It's true. There weren't so many bloody Star Trek podcasts. Like, hey, let's do one too.
I know. I would so get into doing that. It'd be, oh my God, yes. I would quit my job. I'd be like, fuck you. I'm watching Star Trek. We're going to talk about it. Let's go. Be fine.
Yeah. Well, those guys whose podcast I took you to, they ended up quitting their jobs. They do it full time now.
Yeah, they get.
They're making decent money apparently from touring. And
It's good. I got to get that popular. It'd be great. Tell your friends about me. Tell them I'm awesome.
I think if you did a Mad Max Fury Road, then it would spike.
I doubt it. I'd probably lose all of my fans because they'd find out I hate that movie. Don't tell people that. It's fine.
We got to do an episode one day.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to happen. I have one of the Mad Maxes, so I guess that's going to have to come up in there.
Well, Fury Road and Road Warrior are the only two good ones, I think, of the four. One's okay, but it's very dated.
Yeah, I got Thunderdome.
Thunderdome is unwatchable. I hate Thunderdome. Even as a kid, I didn't like it. I would always fast forward to the car chase at the end.
Yeah.
Where there's another truck they're chasing, and it's just a rehash of Road Warrior, and it's not even that good.
That good, yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a very long time, and I've actually found when I'm rewatching a lot of these movies is that I don't actually I think I saw them when I was too young, or I didn't pay enough attention to them at the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I didn't realize this is what this movie was about. You know what I mean? It's just like especially the biggest one for me is all like the old James Bond movies. I'm like, what is the plot of Dr. No? I know there's an evil guy named Dr. No in James Bond, but what is the plot of that movie? What is the point?
So I actually watched this not too long ago because I don't like the old Bond movies, but I try to watch some of them.
Yeah.
And so Dr. No he has the underground lair, right? And like the
he does on the like a volcano island. Yes.
Yeah. Don't think and. What is he trying to do? I can't remember now.
Exactly. See, this is my problem. So every time I one of the ones I recently rewatched was Live and Let Die, and I remember Solitaire being in there. I remember something about voodoo, but I was like, what is this movie about? It's about a drug trade, and I was like, really? You're just tracking cocaine? That's it? Like I was just like, oh, this makes so much more sense now, or like Diamonds Are Forever. I was like, what is Diamonds Are Forever about? It's about a space laser. You're like, what?
Oh, yes. Really? Oh, that must be Roger. Is that a Roger Moore one?
No, that's a Sean Connery one.
Wow, because the Roger Moore ones are insane.
Yeah. And I like rewatching, especially the older ones. I realized I watched these when I was too young. I was just about them running around and shooting stuff. Yeah. I didn't actually pay attention to what the movie was about. And I was like, oh, I'm finally actually understanding what these things are about. And it's happening with a lot of the older movies that I own.
Yeah. For me, the first Bond movie I like as an adult is License to Kill with Timothy Dalton.
Oh yeah, Timothy Dalton is underrated. I'm sorry.
He did two, I think, and I know I like one of them a lot. I think it's License to Kill.
It's Living Daylights is the other one.
Yeah, that one I haven't seen in a while, but there's another cool cart. There's a truck car chase in that one. Mm-hmm. I remember his partner and wife get eaten by sharks and killed by chainsaws.
They're what is it? They're at a wedding, I think it is. The bride and the groom get killed by the guy.
And the guy is Agent Johnson from the first Die Hard movie.
That is correct. That is correct.
Bringing it back to Die Hard.
Yeah. And
I really like that movie.
Yeah. And he gets his license to kill as a secret agent taken away from him. Yeah. But he's like, I don't care. I'm going to track this guy down and kill him.
Yeah, it's just a revenge movie, and it's fantastic.
It's so good. It's so good. So it does come back to Die Hard. It's amazing.
Yay.
We're doing it. I finally figured out the 4 gallons and the 5 gallon jug thing.
I was going to say that too. I figured it out maybe only a couple years ago, which I'm kind of embarrassed by.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I never got it, but even I've watched that movie. I watch it once every year or two.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until maybe 2 or 3 watches ago I actually finally understood it.
Yes, and that was the thing.
And I felt so stupid.
Yeah, because I remember watching it, I'm like, oh, that has to be easy. And I guess I just never actually went through the process in my head. And this time I actually did. And I was like, oh, that's simple. What are you talking about?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I would definitely be dead if I was trying to solve the puzzle for the first time.
I'd have been like, what? This doesn't add up. What are you talking about? It's crazy. Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah. How do you feel about the scene in Harlem with the sign? Does it bother you at all?
A little bit, but the whole point was to make sure he was murdered.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I also think it was unnecessary. But I also think, but also if you pay attention, like we were saying before, a lot of this movie has to do with race relations between white and black. But one of the things that really pisses me off, especially in today's time and age, is that Zeus doesn't know. Hold on. They kind of portray Zeus's negativity towards white people as a bad thing. But I understand where Zeus is coming from, especially as a black person myself.
Yeah.
And they try to put blame onto Zeus that he's causing the racial tension, right?
Oh, okay. I never thought of it that way. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because even at the beginning,
McLean is our hero at the end of the day. Like,
yeah,
and he's like, yeah. Oh yeah, that scene by the park with the elephant. He's like, oh, say the word. He's like, no, I'm gonna call you an asshole.
Yeah, he's like, will you stop with that racist shit? And you're like, he has a right to. Like, it's you know. So like they put that whole racial tension onto Zeus himself. And even at the beginning where he's talking to his nephews and he's like, who don't you want help from? White people. And I'm like, that's not something you teach your kids, right? Because that's a different level of racism. So don't do that. And like, McClane should not be surprised that he is a white cop in a black neighborhood being mistrusted by a black guy. He shouldn't be surprised, is all I'm saying. And there's nothing wrong with taking offense to being called a racist, but also don't blame it on the person for thinking that you're a racist or thinking you're going to say. He doesn't know you. The cops he's probably interacted with have been obviously horrible, and like you mentioned earlier, you know, like white cops will show up with itchy trigger fingers because they know the situation. Yeah, they know how it would be. So like it goes there, and they touch on several, you know, points of racial indiscretions between the two of them, and how people obviously see them and all that kind of stuff. Where John McClane jumps on a train, has a bomb in his hands, and nobody bothers him. Everybody's fine with it. But he jumps a turnstile and he has a gun pulled on him. Like it's shots like that where you're just like, I know you're trying to bring a little bit of, you're trying to show this kind of thing happens, but I think you're not doing it in the right way.
When I probably first saw this movie as a kid, I probably just thought, oh, that's just one bad cop. That's what normally happen, but as we know now, it happens all the time.
It happens all the time, and that's the thing. So I think it's good that the movie brings up this stuff, this topic of discussion, but at the same time, they don't really do it very well.
And a lot of it's for comedic effect.
Yes, a lot of it is
so they can yell at each other and get little one-liners in
and all that kind of stuff. Exactly. But I still think the movie works. It works really well.
This is actually probably my favorite Die Hard. I think just because I saw it when I saw it as a kid, that movie theater experience, me and my friends just laughing our ass off. I love this movie.
Yeah. It's great. It's aged well. It's funny. There's lots of really good action, and again, it goes back to that gritty, really intense, not clean back and forth from the first movie. He's got that feeling back to it, Yeah. So you're kind of like, you feel like you're into the trudges with McClane. Yeah. And I don't know how they get him you see how they get him that dirty and that gross at the end of both of those movies, but at the same time, you're just like, holy shit, which everybody does. They're just like, oh my God, what is, you know?
Well, I went as John McClane from this movie for Halloween 3 or 4 years ago, and I had to get what was it? It wasn't chalk. It was like this black stuff, and I had to put it on my arm and my I just took one picture from the movie and just tried to copy it the best I can. Yeah, and I was grimy, and everything I touched got this black smudge on it. I was like, oh shit, I gotta take this off. I gotta shower immediately when I get home.
Yeah.
That was such a fun costume to wear.
Because you pulled it off perfectly. You look so good. It was awesome.
It took forever to find a shirt like that, like
just kind of like
that was a lot of fun.
A pale plaid weird thing.
Yeah, because the first one I found, it wasn't that good, and then I just a couple days before I did my costume, I found a better one. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Can we also talk about Jeremy Irons as the bad guy?
Oh, yes.
Fucking love him. He's
so
good.
Him and Alan Rickman are the two best.
Yeah, they really are. Like him with this drawl that he kind of puts on with his accent, and I love that they're both British actors pretending to be German, and then they both at one point in time put on an American accent, and you're just like, wait. There's so many layers to this that's happening. It's fantastic. I really do love it.
He's also just like, he's kind of like, he's got that cool vibe to it, like the cool bad guy vibe.
Yeah, he's very, he's very methodical. He's very, you could see he's thought through what he's going to do. And you're like, if you just follow the steps, we're going to get $140 billion. It'll be fine. Let's do this.
I also find the henchmen in 1 and 3 are cast very well.
Yes.
Like they're just these East German thugs, and it's perfect.
Oh, that's one thing about that first movie. All of them have such glorious hair. It's just
I forgot to bring up Carl, the guy who gets shot at the end by Powell. I remember from the Netflix show. He was a ballet dancer. He's not really an actor.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't remember that. Yeah,
he's a ballet dancer. That's why I've never seen him in anything else really.
He was probably like, I'm good, thanks. I tried a thing, and he was fantastic.
And
so
he nailed it. Yeah, you know the park.
He nailed it. Yeah, I maybe that's one of the things that makes these movies work really well is that they don't have the most professional actors in there, so you're not focusing on them too much because you're not like, hey, it's that guy. A, and B, I think their non-preparedness sort of adds to the griminess and the I don't know, the rent, like, when something doesn't go as planned and you're clumsier, you're less focused, you're less, and it like them not being professionals adds to that belief. You're just like, no, this wasn't part of the plan. What are we doing? Oh my God. And they're less focused, they're less clean, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I think that just all adds to it. I just love it. And I also love Jerry, the very knowledgeable truck driver.
Well, he's a trivia nerd, so he's right up your alley.
He is. I enjoy the shit
Jerry.
out of that guy. I will always remember Chester A. Arthur because of this. He's the 21st president of the U.S.
Yep. He's the one who died in like 20 days. Like, remember from the Simpsons song?
No, that was
William
Henry Harrison.
You're right. You're right.
That's the other one I remember because of this.
I died in 20 days.
Yeah. Because what was it? He went in and did his inauguration speech without a coat, even though he was supposed to have a coat.
He got pneumonia
and died. Yeah. So that sucks.
Different time.
Different time, indeed. I don't know. I just enjoy the character. I think he's great. He was obviously just thrown in there because they're like, how are they gonna figure out 21 is Chester A. Arthur? They're dumb guys. Yeah. They're like, here's a trivia note who happens to be a truck driver who was going to the aqueduct. There you go. Done.
Yeah, like if I asked you who's the 10th Prime Minister of Canada, would you know? Like, I don't know.
Louis Riel? I have no idea.
I can only but definitely not. But I can only name the last like 5 or 6, maybe.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
I love history. It's sad. I can name more U.S. presidents than I can.
Yeah, I can't name.
I can probably name every single one from the 20th century and then 3 or 4 into the 19th century. And then it'd be fuzzy, but it's sad I don't know the Canadian prime ministers.
Yeah, from Chrétien on, I'm good.
Yeah, I can go back a bit, like 2 or 3 back from Chrétien.
Okay, yeah.
They started Kim Campbell.
But from the States, I can do from Reagan on, and then I can randomly name ones here. So, Kim Campbell. She was prime minister for like a month, 2 months.
Yeah. We didn't even elect her.
Yeah, so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, we have our first female prime minister, and you're gone.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, we also bitch about, how the U.S. has never had a female president, but I'm like, have we really had a prime minister?
No, it should count. I mean, she was a prime minister, but because her predecessor stepped down.
Yeah, so it doesn't count at all. It's fine.
And then she had the worst defeat in, I think, Canadian history.
Yeah, it was a complete landslide. Like,
ended up with like 3 or 4 seats from.
Yeah. It was horrible. I remember that whole controversy. Oh, that was a whole thing.
But yeah, so if I had to name the prime minister, I mean, now we just look on our phone.
That's the thing.
I couldn't do it. Yeah.
I think that maybe is more of the fact that we get bombarded with so much U.S. television and stuff like that we can't get around it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's my own fault too. Like the history I choose to read, I try and do Canadian, but I don't read it enough. I try and pick Canadian, but
I think it's because it's less big, is less fantastic than other countries, I suppose. Yeah. Or maybe it's just that, again, we get so bombarded by things from U.S. and from, like, Europe that we only know the big things from U.S. and European history, and we don't know the big things from Canadian history, and so we don't think about it as much. Right, so it could be a combination of those two things.
Yeah, I definitely seek out more Canadian history podcasts. So I listen to a lot of history podcasts, but they're mostly American or Europe.
There you go. It happens. we do get regularly ignored as well in everything when they're talking about history and stuff, because we had a huge part in like World War II and World War I and stuff that gets glossed over real quickly in anything talking about history, and you're just like. We did stuff. We
liberated the Dutch in World War II. Woo.
There you go. We did, but it's still something that's pretty big. Yeah. Right? So, and all that kind of stuff. So, Vimy Ridge is a big one that comes up in our history. Yeah, it's a World War I one everyone knows. Yeah. Yeah. So, Yeah.
But yes, I do love Jerry too.
I do love Jerry. Jerry's
and I
great.
McLean just lets him talk. Like they're driving through the aqueduct for a while, and Jerry's just rambling on about facts.
And he's just like, "Yes, Jerry."
I did not know that, Jerry.
Yes.
Thanks for letting me know, Jerry.
Yes.
Is that man dead? Yes, Jerry, he's dead.
At least he's not rude or mean or anything. He's not like, shut the hell up or get the hell away from me or, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he's just like, let the man talk. He sits in a truck by himself all day, every day. He needs to get it out. We're good.
Well, actually, this reminds me, one of my favorite jokes in the movie is when Samuel Jackson finds a bar of gold. And he's like, you can't keep that. And he's like, I'll see about that. Puts it in the back seat. And then they steal the car from the rich business guy, or the business guy. And he's like, oh, he's having a bad day. And John McClane's like, well, wait till he looks in the back seat. Just the look on Samuel Jackson's face.
That was my gold!
That was my bar of gold. Every single time that makes me howl.
Yeah, because it's like, I love the continuity of that, because you can't have him lugging around this heavy thing for the rest of the movie, and they figured out a way to get rid of it in like the most. It's like the best way possible. Like, my comment is like, why would you put it in the backseat in the first place? You're not even driving. So that was my first thought. But then he does it, and then that happens, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Like, that's why I love these movies. There's all these little things like that. Just so great.
And he's picking up his car phone. Oh, it's awesome. Oh, talk about aging a movie again. Oh my God, it's so good.
Well, like, we were saying earlier, the payphones, and like, I know there's still payphones around, but they always seem to be broken or vandalized or.
Yeah, but most of them have been removed from places. Like, I rarely see a payphone where it was like every other block you would see like 2 or 3 of them before. And I think in my neighborhood, I think there's one payphone, if I remember correctly. Or did they remove it?
I mean, you have to keep some because there are people who don't have cell phones.
Yeah, because that's one of the biggest problems that's happening as well is that people forget there are the working poor and there are people who don't have cell phones. They have people who don't have internet. There are people who don't go online for everything. Like they still write out paperwork. They still got to physically go places to do stuff, right? Mm-hmm. They have landlines that they call people on. And like, no, I can't send you a fax. And those people do exist. And because of our continued digitalizing the way we do things, we are actually excluding a huge part of our population, like around the world, not just in North America, because there are rural communities that companies just won't pay to get access to, or if they do, the person who wants the access has to pay for it, and it's like $40,000 or $50,000 to get a line.
I thought in Canada they had to go to rural communities though, like even like if you're in Nunavut. Like I know the States is big pockets, but okay.
Not all of them.
That's one of the excuses why Bell and Rogers always like, that's why internet costs so much, because we have to go all over the country.
Yeah, but you should go all over the country.
Oh, I know, yeah.
That's like saying,
it's a right. Everyone should have.
That's like the electric company saying, oh, electricity is so hard because we have to send it to the house over there. Like, yeah, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's the point of you being there, you know. Yeah. So it's so dumb. Like, and there really isn't any reason for our internet and our cable to be this friggin' expensive.
No, but we pay the most in cell phone in the developed world.
Yes, we do. It's ridiculous how much we pay compared to other countries.
Because there's no competition. It's just 2-3 companies control everything and keep the prices the same.
Yeah, whereas everywhere else it's like hundreds of companies competing. Yeah. And like a lot of countries don't even have like roaming charges. You could fly all over the world and just keep your phone on and talk to people. Yeah. And you're like, what? You can do that? That's crazy. How much do you pay? Oh, I pay like €9 a month for my phone. You're like, excuse me?
What? That's crazy.
You know, like I don't think it's that little, but compared to what we pay, it is ridiculously small for, especially like the access and the coverage that they get and all that kind of stuff, where we go 4 blocks and we get charged roaming fees. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, this is crazy. Yeah. So. Yeah. Anyways, that's enough of me bitching like I'm an old lady.
Get off my lawn.
How dare you? Where's my cane? You know? Yeah. Anyways, love this movie. Talking about Canada, they go to Canada at the end. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, first time I heard to go to Canada.
Yeah, they go to north of the border, the motel. I don't know.
I do find it harder when I love a movie to talk about it. Like if I hated it or I want to make fun of the flaws, it's so much easier for me. But when I can't just sit here and be like, oh, I love this scene. I love this scene.
But you can. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like talking about, especially these first 3 movies, like the first and the third movie, a little bit in the second movie, but like I would just go scene by scene and be like, I love this scene because of these 10 things. Oh, then this scene happens. Oh, I love that scene too about these 10 things in this scene.
Yeah.
You know, it's shit like that. And you're just like, we're both sitting here just smiling at each other as we talk about this because we're just so excited. Yeah. And we're like, we love these movies.
When you asked me to do this, I think I had 2.5 days notice. I'm like, yeah, movie marathon.
Yeah, you're not gonna say no. I'll be like, I'm sorry, I have 3 hours to watch 4 movies. I'll make this work. I'll do it.
This was like a Jane Austen marathon. I'd be like, fine. Or, I don't know, something I'm not really into. But Die Hard, fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. And like I watched these, but like I did watch 1 movie a day when I was watching them. I don't like to watch too many movies back to back.
Yeah.
I like things to sink in. But still, like at the end of every one of these movies, I had a stupid look on my face, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, yeah!" You know, like you're hyped, you're ready, you're good, everything's great. And this one really, really does it. It really does it.
But then 4 at the end, I was like, okay. So, even though I do sort of like it.
There's a lot of groaning that happens when I watch that movie for sure.
Like, takes a helicopter down with a car.
Yeah, and that's what makes it not Die Hard. But before we go to that one,
sorry, I'm jumping in.
The Christmas references for this movie.
Oh yes. How many were there?
There were 6. I could have sworn there were 8.
I've been thinking this whole time. I can't think of any.
Okay, so at one point in time, somebody said they're on the phone with Simon, and he's like, "You mean McLean?" He says, "No, I mean Santa Claus."
Oh wait! I just thought of one. The kid stealing the candy.
Yeah, it's Christmas. You can steal City Hall. I love that. I fucking love that.
Oh, he's an adorable little thing.
It's just the way he says City Hall. I was like, oh wow. Okay, let me get a stick and a wheel so you could play some stickball.
There's also, I don't know her name, but the woman with the curly hair. She's like, I'm on it. I can't do it, but she says I'm on it. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. And we were talking about the scene in the tunnel when he walks up to the dump truck that's stopped in front of him, and he shoots into it, and he's like, "Hey guys, yeah, we're looking for a jolly guy with like 8 reindeer," and he just shoots through. There's that one. And
I love how he's reloading his gun, and he keeps going. Yeah, he's a big fat guy with a big beard.
Exactly. So there's that part. Then the guy in the basement defusing a bomb. So we've got 3 tripwires. We got this and a partridge in a pear tree. So there's that part.
Oh, they're so obvious now when you say them.
Yeah, right. Because then all of a sudden they're like those are quintessential scenes, and there they are. But the next 2 scenes will probably you'll probably question me on it. Okay. But so there's a part where, you know, when they're on the boat and Simon is getting off the boat and he meets the girl and the guy on the boat and he shoots the guy.
Yep.
At that part,
it
plays the same music as in the first one when the locks break and it starts doing ding 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 ding, and it has like a music. It plays that part when he shoots the guy.
I never caught that.
So that's silver bells in there. And also when the boat explodes and they jump in the water and they're passed out and then they wake up and they start frantically swimming, there's silver bells played over the top of it.
Really?
Yeah, not the song Silver Bells, just like actual, like the ding 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 ding. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part. There's silver bells played over it. So those are my 6 movie references, Christmas references within that.
No, good job. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
There you go. So Christmas movie. There you go, guys. Done.
All right. I agree.
And now we have to go through to what I would like to call the not so Die Hard movie. Live Free or Die Hard. I
like I said, I do like it, and this was the first time seeing it in a while, and I did not like it as much as before.
I was bored watching this movie,
and just I rolled my eyes a lot.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't like John McClane's Asian racism.
No, you didn't. You didn't like the stupid hooker Asian.
Yeah, dumb Asian hooker bitch or something, and he said something else too, and I was like, oh. Yeah,
he does. He said something about I'm sick of your kung fu fighting or some shit. He says,
like when he's talking to Timothy Olyphant, I know he's trying to make him mad.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, he says a couple of things that you're just like, no, that's not right.
Don't like this.
I did. I made a face at those comments as well. I was like, oh.
And like she's the first, like, well, I guess she's the second female villain. But the first one's barely, like, Die Hard with a Vengeance. She has that cool scene with the sickle, I guess you call it.
Yeah, and she ruins that one man.
I think he's dead, my dear. But she never speaks a word.
Yeah, you can see that she's got like a scar in her neck.
Yeah.
But they also mentioned earlier that there was a bomb put in his bed, and they think they killed her, but they.
So that was probably the bomb.
Yeah, so I think that's a reference to that.
So they give Maggie Q more to do. I think it's her name, right? Maggie Q.
Yeah, Maggie Q. Yeah.
Yeah, but then he starts saying all this stuff. I'm like,
yeah. The worst part is before she even gets into the actual action, they only make sexual references to her. They're like, ooh, that voice is sexy. Ooh, you sound hot. Blah, blah, blah. And then when she gets into the action where she can actually kick ass, it's a bunch of Asian stereotypes that they ridicule her for, and then they kill her. And I was like, really? Whereas everybody else that you fight, you just fight them without making fun of them and insulting them for who they are.
Yeah, he doesn't make any German jokes or Hungarian jokes.
Nope. He doesn't make any kind of jokes. He doesn't talk about the Third Reich or anything. Like, whether... Like, he doesn't make any of those kind of references, and even fighting other people, except for the French guy who's from District 13, which is a great movie, who does all the parkour stuff, he calls him a squirrel at one point because he keeps jumping around. But he doesn't make any derogatory comments towards him.
Wait,
he's a good fighter.
He's not the main guy, is he?
Wait, what movie are you thinking of?
Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of District 9. Sorry.
Yeah, you are. That's what I thought.
Right.
Yeah, people always get that confused. So District 13 is kind of like a cross between The Raid. Well, it's kind of like The Raid. I will say that. It's kind of like The Raid, but a French version.
Okay.
But it's sort of also set up like, you know, the Last Dread movie, how it takes place in like one building that's been locked down. It takes place in like a district, like it takes place in the future, and there's a district of Paris, and it's called District 13, and it's like a bunch of it's drug lords take it over, and the place gets locked down because this guy who's a cop, his sister is trapped in there, and he goes in to rescue her, and he's like, they can't get out. That's
right.
So it's all like I came out at the height of like parkour and action, so it's him just jumping all the place doing parkour, beating the crap out of people. So when I saw him in this movie, I was like, oh my God, he's breaking out. He's going to be a star. But this, I think, is like the second movie I've ever seen him in.
Was that actually him doing it? Because it did look like him.
No,
I couldn't tell if it was a stuntman or not. Okay.
No, that guy does his own stunts. Like, that's what he does. And I think there was a District 13 Part 2 or something that he may have been in. Okay. But I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else besides the District 13 movies.
Yeah, because I did recognize him. I just didn't know from what, and my phone was charging, so I didn't look it up.
Yeah.
So it must be District 13.
So, so it was fun to see him in that, and he's so good at what he does. Like, it's friggin' great to see all, like, his cool action moves and such. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that part of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They do have some pretty decent, like, fight sequences and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
And
but again, I don't like that there's no blood and no swearing.
I don't have a problem with there being no blood and no swearing. I have a problem with the fact that they seem to forget the fundamental nature of the character John McClane. The movie is much too shiny and clean looking, and it kind of falls apart in the end. Yeah, that's what happens. It just doesn't work as well as you want to, and that could be because there's no swearing and no blood. Because usually by the end of these movies, John McClane is covered in blood, whether it's his own or someone else's. He's usually drenched, and because he's falling apart in blood. So
yeah. Well, I go back to the third one. I love when he's on the boat going after Targo, I think his name is, and you just see him, blood is dripping down his arm and hand. He's just leaving a trail of blood. Or even in the first one with the shoot the glass, like he's just his trail of blood in the bathroom as he's picking glass out.
Well, even when they see him in the last scene of the first movie, and they're both like, "Oh my God!"
Oh yeah, that's right. Holly said that.
Yeah, and you're like, that is a proper reaction to what you're seeing right now. By the way, that is correct.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So awesome. Yeah. Or this is the first franchise or action movies where the hero really gets hurt, right? I don't think they usually get pretty unscathed.
No, but they usually get. No, I think this is the grittiest for sure. But I don't think it's the first action movie where he really gets hurt per se. Okay. I mean, even if you think of like Karate Kid, he gets beat up quite a bit, and then at the end, with chanting and spirit, he wins. It's fine.
Have you watched the new Karate Kid on YouTube?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either.
That's what is it? Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai, yeah.
Yeah.
About the dojo.
Yeah. I just have no interest.
I didn't either.
After that first Karate Kid movie, I mean, I watched 1 and 2 and 3, I believe. Which one's Hilary Swank in?
3, I think.
3, yeah. So I watched 1, 2, and 3, and anything beyond that I haven't looked at.
Randomly, I watched Home Alone 3 for my bad movie podcast I listened to, and I forgot that Scarlett Johansson's the little kid's sister.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, it's one of her first movies.
Yeah, no, that's horrible.
Yeah, it's so weird seeing her as a child because I'm not used to her being a child actress. Like if I see Kristen Dunst or something, I've seen many movies with her as a kid. But then you see Scarlett Johansson as a 12-year-old or whatever.
Yeah, but she did a lot of movies. Like she's technically a child actor that grew up, and it's the same thing with like Leo DiCaprio. Like he did a bunch of movies as a kid, and he grew up in it and everything. But even younger than that, I mean, he did. What is it? Critters? Critters 3 or something like that.
And he was in a TV show with Michael J. Fox, wasn't he? He was
in a TV show.
And he was a small child then.
Yeah. There are some of the few people who actually like grew up through things. Like I guess Drew Barrymore's also on as well. Yeah,
E.T. she's like a baby.
Yeah. But she also took a break in there and was a drug addict by 12, so that was kind of sad. So was like Robert Downey Jr. technically as well.
Yeah, everyone forgets about his past.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's definitely done a lot to revamp his career, revamp his personality, and he's been sober for like 20 years or something like that for a very long time. And
he owes Jon Favreau a big thanks for hiring him because he fought for him.
Yeah, because people were just like...
didn't want him.
No, they didn't want to... They also didn't want to insure him either in case he, like, OD'd at some point in time in the middle of all these things. And, it's, you know, they're putting everything on this movie franchise.
Yeah.
So, but it's great. It worked out awesome for him, and it made him a better person, surprisingly.
Yeah. Is Justin Long a child actor?
He's been around for a very long time.
He has. Like I normally like him, but in this he's just I don't know.
I mean, he's definitely been in some as a teenager. I also realized I have a surprising amount of movies that have Justin Long in it, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh.
I'm very confused by this fact.
Do you have Jeepers Creepers?
I do not. But even like next week, I have a movie with him in it. Because
what's next? Wait, I don't know how you figure it out. I don't know.
Dodgeball. He's in Dodgeball.
Ah, of course.
Yeah, I'm doing that one next week, the next episode is going to have Dodgeball in it. Mm-hmm. And also, these movies connect to the movies I did last week because I had, I did Death Becomes Her and Death Proof.
Yeah.
And Bruce Willis is in Death Becomes Her, and Mary Louise Winston's in Death Proof.
Barely though.
Yeah, barely, but she's there.
Again, underused.
Underused, yeah, but that was also another one of her very early roles. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I loved her in Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter as Mary Todd. She was fantastic.
She's also, the only good thing about the Thing remake. Like that movie sucks, but she's good in it.
I did not watch The Thing.
It's awful. Actually. It's like what made The Thing so good is the practical effects of the Thing. Mm-hmm. And this one, it's bad. It's terrible CGI, and it takes you out of it because it's technically a prequel, I think.
Yes, that's what I heard. It was supposed to be a prequel.
It's before like the Swedes even find the Thing.
Yeah, because doesn't the Thing get into the base in a dog?
Yes.
And this movie is about how the dog got it and it got back in there, isn't it?
I think so. So you've got the American base with Kurt Russell, then you got the Swedish or Finnish base. I can't remember because one of the characters keeps calling it the wrong country, and then so I always mix it up now. They're like, no, they're Norwegians. Blah, blah, the Norwegian, I believe. And I think it's even before the Norwegians get the Thing. It's another base.
Gotcha. Okay. But if she's fantastic in that, that's really great.
Well, I mean, it's not she's fantastic. I maybe I have a bias. I just really like her.
Mm-hmm. I really liked her in Scott Pilgrim as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Even though in the comic books they make Ramona such a better character, but I think she does a decent job in representing her for how they did it in the movie.
I'm so glad. I can't remember who it was. Someone talked me into watching it because I had no interest, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." I know. I didn't see it in theaters. I didn't care. I didn't want to see it, and then I can't remember who it was. Someone talked me into it.
It may have been me because I think I remember. Like I read all the comic books. I own all the comic books. And this is before I met you, I think. Really?
Yeah.
When did Scott Pilgrim come out?
It's old now.
It's not that old, is it?
It's maybe like 15 years old.
Really?
Oh, I don't know. Let's find out.
Really?
I think.
So it's 2010. It's 10 years old.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I could have been you then. Never mind.
Yeah,
I thought it was older.
Because I think I would have met you 2012, 2013.
Yeah, so it's possible.
It's possible.
Because I saw it probably around that time.
Okay.
3 or 4 years after it came out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because, yeah, I read all the comic books, and the last book number 6 came out the same year, just before the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was released just in time before, like, it was scheduled, like, the movie was scheduled to be released after the book came out, because unlike the Game of Thrones guy, he wanted readers to know what the ending was before the movie came out.
Yeah.
Okay? And as we know, with being presented in a different medium changes the story sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with this. Because, like, this movie presents as it takes place in, like, a couple of weeks, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the comic books, it's, like, all of that happens over, like, 2 or 3 years. So it's a big it's a big difference and a big jump. There's lots more character development and why you like people, why you don't, and all this stuff's going on and things. So I mean, it makes a really big difference. So I'm glad they did it, but the movie does it really good justice.
Well, it's Edgar Wright. He's great.
He really is great, and he doesn't get enough credit for what he does.
No.
Yeah, even with, like, Baby Driver, which I didn't think was going to be as good as it was. I didn't like the ending, but
yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Yeah, but
I was
really
all on board for most of it, and then the ending was like, oh.
You're like, really? That's what we're doing? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, except for that, like, it's great. I like everything that he's done. I really wish we got to see his version of Ant-Man, honestly. I think it would have been amazing.
Oh, that's right. He left.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wish I'd seen the Han Solo Lord Miller.
Yes, that would have been really good.
No, I like the movie. I do like the movie, but I'm so curious what they would have done with it.
Honestly, I think if we saw if Ant-Man came out after the 3rd Thor movie, I think we would have still gotten Edgar Wright's Ant-Man.
You're right. Yeah, because that's got Taika Waititi all over it. And
I
don't think they cared. And it's like, oh, it's Thor 3. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, and I think the problem is that the only reason Thor 3 happened is they're like, we have to show the destruction of Asgard. That's it. That's all that whole movie was about. And you're like, we don't care what comes before that, but, you know, Asgard has to get destroyed at the end. And they're like, there you go. Do whatever you want. Whereas they had, like, a purpose for Ant-Man, but because Thor Ragnarok did so well and it being so unconventional, especially to the other movies that came before it, if that Edgar Wright got to make his Ant-Man, it would have been after that movie came out. Because they're like, you know what? It's still going to work. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You know, there's a lot more comics to make, maybe in the future.
Hopefully.
He's not like soured on it.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? You get a lot of people get soured on stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh man, we barely talked about Die Hard 4.
Yeah, well, because it's not that great. I mean, they do a lot of driving in one. It's literally, this movie starts on a Friday night.
Yeah, it's like a road trip.
And it goes through Saturday and a Sunday morning. It's a day. Yeah. And in that time, so they start in New Jersey. They go to Camden. They drive. Sorry, this is where they're driving. Mm-hmm. So they go New Jersey to Camden to D.C. and they go to West Virginia. They fly to Baltimore and then they drive to Woodlawn, and then they have a chase through Baltimore, and they end up in some warehouse somewhere. I don't know where that warehouse is, but apparently it could be outside of Baltimore because it's quote unquote close to Woodlawn. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of driving for pretty much a day and a half. I'm just saying, and then all the action in between. And
John McClane was already getting off work, so he's been up for 2 days at least. I guess he's on adrenaline, but. I need a little power nap.
Justin Long gets the power nap in the car.
That's right.
But he drove the whole time, so he doesn't get to sleep. Mm-hmm. And he's getting blown up, thrown out. Isn't he bleeding out of a hole at one point in time when they get out of the tunnel?
All the bullets that came out, the bullets that come into that apartment building.
Yeah. Or when he takes the car and he like jumps out of the car and he's rolling. And does he like dislocate his shoulder or some nonsense? Like it's something weird.
Yeah,
it's crazy. He's in a lot of pain. That's nuts.
I do really like the scene where they start turning off all the lights, and then you see like a chopper view of I think it's Washington, and just all the different car crashes happening. I really.
Oh yes,
I really like that scene.
It's a very good scene. Yeah,
it's done very well, I think. And I remember in theaters, it was like, oh, this is so cool.
Again, really early in the movie, and like that's the good stuff. But as soon as you act like the plan starts rolling out, and then you get the bureaucracy coming into it, where they try to explain everything, and they're just like,
yeah. Oh, this agency dropped. So Tuvok's agency dropped the ball. Like, who cares? Why do I care about this?
Because it was above his pay grade, and you're just like, Can we?
Why is that in this?
Go away,
I'm glad Tim Russ is getting work, but
this, oh my god, I saw him in a Hallmark movie the other day, and I was like, oh, what are you doing?
Oh, he showed up in what did I watch? I watched something where he was a parent, and he didn't like what his daughter's job was. I can't remember. It's very recent.
No, but he shows up pretty regularly in a bunch of stuff. But a lot of people forget, like, he was on Homicide: Life on the Street before he was in Voyager. Like, he was hard.
So was Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. I'm 98% sure it was Homicide.
Oh. I never watched that one. I should, because it's the same people who did The Wire, I think, and I love The Wire.
I've never watched The Wire.
Yeah, I know. If you ever want to borrow the DVDs.
No, I'm at this point, I don't watch it out of spite.
Yeah, I know.
It's a whole thing.
I got to win a bet with you or something.
Yeah.
It's the only way I'll get you to watch it. My friend Gary refuses to watch the Harry Potter movies, and I just want to win a bet against him so I can torture him, because he'd hate them.
Hold on, it's not Homicide. Which show was he?
So,
I know
there was a couple of those. So is it one of the?
It's one of those dark police one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me actually look up Tim Russ instead of the show.
Oh, he's got a lot of credits.
He does.
I think what show it was I watched recently. Oh, it was Black Monday. That's what it was. Yeah, he was
he was also in Spaceball. He's winning shit.
That's right, he was.
I love that
Spaceballs last weekend, randomly.
I actually love that part so much.
I love the whole movie. That definitely holds up. You own Spaceballs, right?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good.
He was on an episode of 911. He was a marriage counselor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just.
Well, he also showed up in Star Trek a bunch before Voyager, even.
He did, yeah. He was in one of the movies. He was in TNG. He tried to kill Picard.
Yep, in the very end episode.
Yeah, that episode's so good. Because it's one of those you got a time limit or something horrible is going to happen, but also his running space gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're just oh, this is so good.
It ends in 10 forward.
Yeah.
So
well,
great.
10 forward is at the very front of the ship, right? And if the thing's going this way, that's what's going to happen. Oh yeah, he's in Arrested Development too.
Oh. Yeah, he's not used in this movie at all, really.
No, he comes in, says his name, and walks to the side, and you're just like.
And then the main cybersecurity guy is mad at him. Like, okay, who cares?
I am not gonna find this. Where the fuck is it? Oh God, he showed up on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air too at some point.
Yeah, he's gone around. He's probably my favorite Vulcan in Star Trek.
Yeah, I agree.
I think.
Sorry,
Spock fans.
I like him and Spock. T'Pol is the worst fucking Vulcan ever. Also, they use her excessively, like they did with Dax. They use her as a sex object so often. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I don't remember that.
Because they show it on TV all the time, and I've been rewatching it, and several episodes back to back. I was just like, oh my God. Why does this Vulcan never have clothes on? Oh, he was on Hill Street. He was on Hill Street Blues. I'm way too far back. That is not the show I was thinking of. He showed up on Family Matters at some point in time. Going back to the first movie. What?
In a second.
Oh yeah, that's right. He does show up in the second one as well. That is correct.
Yeah. I do like the actor. I just wish he didn't have to shoot a kid.
Yeah, that kind of.
That would never happen now. There's no way that would be in a movie or a TV show plot where it's someone we're rooting for.
What? I am not finding what I am looking for.
No luck?
No. Maybe it is Hill Street Blues I was thinking of. I think I might be mixing him up with something else, but I could have sworn he was a big character on some show, on some cop show. I remember.
Vulcans look alike to you, Tracy?
Apparently. Oh my God, I'm horrible. I could have sworn it was Homicide, but it's not showing up on anything.
Did you actually watch that show?
Not really.
Oh.
But I remember seeing him on like a poster for the show and stuff.
Oh. I think it's so funny that the guy who plays Holt, like he's the funniest character on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think.
Yeah.
He's such a good comedic actor, but all his older stuff is all serious crime drama.
Drama and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. And he's such a good comedic actor. It's because
he has like deadpan down to like it's so perfect. You know what I mean?
But like when he gets excited on the show about something, like I don't know, opera, and he breaks his deadpan demeanor, it's the funniest thing to me.
Yeah.
Or he gets excited about the stupidest things. Like I really love that show.
Okay, so apparently I was wrong, but I would have bet money. I could have sworn I've seen him. Ugh.
When I was looking at Die Hard 1, the picture for what's the limo driver's name again?
Argyle?
Argyle, yeah. He's an old man now, and it's just so strange.
Mm-hmm. Well, he must have been in his 20s, and it was 32 years ago, so he's in his 50s and stuff. I try so hard not to think about these numbers anymore because
I know, we're getting there.
You're like, oh my God. A, that makes me feel really old, and B, oh my God, all those people look so old. Because you see pictures of him, like, I saw the Argyle picture, and he doesn't look like Argyle anymore.
Mm-hmm. No, I would never guess that's Argyle.
No, in no way, shape, or form. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yes, anyways, let's skip over me being wrong. And, yeah.
No, that was Podcasting Gold. That all has to be in.
That all has to be in there? Okay. Done and done.
This is looking up the Tim Russ section of the show.
Yeah. But he had done a crap load of stuff before being a main character in Voyager, and not just episodes of, other episodes of Star Trek either.
Yeah.
He was Dixon on The Magical World of Disney. Oh, no.
No idea what that is.
I don't know what that is. Well, I know what The Magical World of Disney is, but I don't know what Case Busters is.
Sounds like a kid show.
Yeah, it probably is. But he's only on one episode. It's fine. Anyways, yes, continue.
Sorry.
Yes.
What were we saying?
Die Hard 4 isn't really good Die Hard, and they don't use Tim Russ enough.
I really hate the F-35 scene with the fighting.
Yes. I actually
for one thing, as a nerd, you never need to bring a plane with missiles anywhere close to your target. You can shoot at it a mile away, and you're fine.
Yeah. And like he comes like right up to him. I'm like, but why?
And it's hovering between overpasses and bridges, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, that's not necessary. Like when he first shows up and he's far away and he's just shooting at the overpass. Opening fire using a plane like that on U.S. soil is illegal, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah, you can under the Constitution.
You can in your Constitution.
That's why Trump's such an idiot when he said he wanted to bring in the troops to
which is
quell the protests.
Friggin' dumb.
Doesn't understand the simplest things about government.
No. The funny thing is one thing that I found out about the rules of engagement of war, like the treaties and stuff, is that in war, it's against you cannot use tear gas. It's chemical warfare, but it's actually completely legal for a government to use tear gas on its own people. And you're like, what? Like, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Wow, I didn't know you couldn't use it in war.
Mm-hmm. It's really nuts. But
I was once around someone who sprayed, I think, pepper spray or something like that. I was inside of Pizza, and everyone in the building could just, like, their eyes started to hurt, and we could smell something. And we're like, what's happening? And then someone outside had sprayed it by the door. And I don't know what it was. But my eyes were watering for hours. Yeah. So I can't imagine someone who's even close to it or in a tear gas.
It gets sprayed directly in their face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like you said that earlier, that protester.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
But it's a torture device. Like it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. What do you think about Timothy Olyphant? Am I saying it right? Olyphant?
Timothy Olyphant?
Olyphant? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll call him Elephant. Timothy Elephant.
I think he's actually a pretty decent bad guy.
I agree.
He's not,
I have a bias though because I really like him.
Yeah. Maybe that's what my problem is too, but I actually think he's a decent bad guy. I just don't think this is the greatest. It's not a great role, is all it is. Yeah. But he does a decent job with what he's given. Like,
yeah, he's doing what he can.
Like, I love the scenes where they get his daughter and she keeps fighting the guys and he's like, "Do you got it? Like, seriously, is it good?" And then but then later he threatens her. He's just like, "Don't think I won't hurt you."
Oh,
you know.
And he's straight up like bitch slaps her. Like,
yeah.
Whoa.
So like,
it's violent.
Like he has the same sort of not as good, but the same sort of cool Hans Gruber demeanor, which I really. And a bad guy, I find that more creepy than anything else, which makes him a good bad guy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that, but with what he's given and the setup and all that kind of stuff, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't get the cool Hans Gruber vibe. I get like he's like, to me, he's very methodical, matter of fact, just says what he had, which I kind of like. But again, he's in one of my favorite shows ever, Deadwood, and so I do have a bias with him.
I actually think he's like, as his career has gone off and he's gotten older, he's definitely gotten a lot better at what he does, which is really great. And like, I think he also picks roles that suit him better. And so he's been doing just generally better. Cause even in like, Stand Clear to Die, where he plays like the comic relief husband to a zombie woman. Yeah. He's so good at it. It's just like a role that seems to fit him. Yeah. Yeah. I think he was fantastic in that as well. So yeah.
If you ever watch Justified, he is so charming and likable in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he plays the sheriff or something.
U.S. Marshal.
U.S. Marshal. Gotcha.
Who shoots a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Westerns person, so that's why I've never watched any of those either. But
yeah, it's a modern Western.
It's I've been very tempted to watch Justified at least, because even the bad guy in that what's that guy's name?
I can picture him. Oh my god.
He's got the teeth.
He's always creepy. He was
he's
that
always
guy
creepy.
In Django too. What's his name?
And he was in Vice Principals the other day.
Yeah. But he's great. He's great too.
So great in that.
Yeah, his name's like Cutter or something in the show. Or anyways, he runs an evil family.
Yeah. But he's super fantastic. I love that. That guy is just. He's great, but yeah, he's also one of those people I have to learn the name to find them and things and watch their stuff. I
normally know it. It's bugging me. I can't think of it. But yeah, Justified definitely falls off, I think, around season 4 or 5. And I never finished it because it got so silly.
It's Walton Goggins.
Yeah, Walton. Yeah, I think Goggins. Is there GR?
No, INS.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Goggins. Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoy him. He was in Hateful Eight, not Django. Wait, or was he Django as well?
No, he's in Django. He's one of the he works for Leo. Yeah, well, Tarantino uses the same people a lot, so he may have used them for both.
So I'm just trying to look it up. There's Hateful Eight. When did Django come out? Just blind.
A couple years before.
Yeah, 2012. That's a while now. He played Billy Crash.
Yeah, he's one of like the ranch hands, one of the racist ranch hands.
Something. Yeah, okay.
I just remember he's the big shootout in the mansion, and he's on the ground and he keeps getting shot in the leg, like through the crossfire.
Oh, he plays that guy.
He's just screaming in pain as random bullets are hitting him. Yeah,
gotcha. Okay, I know exactly who. Yeah, gotcha. Sometimes I just need to picture a scene, and then I'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah. What do you think about Kevin Smith in this movie?
Kevin Smith is Kevin Smith. Like,
it's so random.
It is very random, but he's friends with Justin Long, and he was gonna go do Cop Out. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
But then him and Bruce Willis butt heads on Cop Out.
Yeah, that came out in 10.
I found the movie actually funny.
Cop Out?
Yeah,
I hated Cop Out.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
I just Like, literally most of the scenes is something's happening, and then Tracy Morgan does something, and Bruce Willis literally stands to the side and goes, what? And then they do something else. We're like Bruce Willis spends the whole movie just staring at what everybody else is doing, and then continues. I'm like, what is? You're not even trying.
Bruce Willis hasn't tried in a long time.
It's true.
Like, can you think of what the last good movie he was in? It's probably more than a decade old.
I really like 16 Blocks. That was probably a while ago.
That's old. Yeah. I was gonna say the kid out of like New York City, right?
No, he's just got to get. He's
Are the
got
cops
to get.
trying to kill him?
Cops are trying to kill him because this witness has to get to a courthouse for a trial against some cops. And they hire him because he's an old, like, about to retire drunk guy who's a joke on the force. And they're like, give it to him because he's incompetent and this kid will die easily. And it turns out he's like, nah, I'm going to make sure this kid lives because he's got to get to here.
Yeah. I remember David Morse as the bad cop.
Yeah.
Great actor.
Yeah, I really like 16 Blocks. 16 Blocks is actually really good.
But he hasn't tried in a long time. He does a lot of straight to, I don't know what you call them now, DVD movies, or straight to streaming services that aren't that good.
Like VOD, yeah.
Yeah, he has one out with, I think, Tia Leone or someone like that, and it looks awful. It's dropping on Netflix.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of movies that are listed here that I'm like, I've never heard of this. What the fuck's happening?
Yeah, one of them was with, they did a remake of, oh, God. It's that cop who's angry and shoots people.
Oh, yeah. Death Wish.
Death Wish, thank you.
Yeah. I flat out refuse to watch that movie, actually.
Anyone I've talked to has seen it said it's so bad. He's not, he's just going from scene to scene, not trying. Awful movie all around.
I didn't mind Split, but it has more to do with,
yeah, it's not.
Not Split. What's the one that came after that?
The sequel.
Glass.
Yeah, what's his name is carrying that movie?
James McAvoy.
Thank you.
And Sam Jackson's in it as well. And like Sam Jackson and James McAvoy do such a good job in that movie. It saves it because that movie could have been absolute garbage.
I didn't like it.
But Split was really good. I
like Split.
Split was not what I was expecting either.
Yeah, me too. I kind of came out of left field. Like, this is good.
And also the left field was the connection between Split and Unbreakable, where they just have the 3-second scene with him in it.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? And then then they bring out Glass, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand. Does he need the money? Why is he still working if he's not trying or caring?
I mean, you got to keep money going.
Yes.
Yeah, Sin City, A Dame to Kill For was horrible. The sequel to Sin City.
I liked one of the stories. I liked I can't remember now. I think I liked the gambling story with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I liked I think it was 3. One I hated, and 2 I kind of liked.
No, I did like Christopher Lloyd in it. He was in there. His character was fantastic.
It's always nice when he pops up in something.
Exactly. But everything else around it was horrible.
Yeah.
What about Looper? You don't like Looper?
Oh, I love. I know your thoughts on it. I love Looper.
Yeah, I don't.
I know you like the first half, don't like the second.
Yeah, the first half and the second half of that movie are 2 completely different movies that don't fit together.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy.
So Looper might be the last one I really. I mean, I kind of like 16 Blocks too, so I guess that's the last one I like.
Yeah, but 16 Blocks was earlier than Looper.
Oh, it was okay.
Yeah.
So I guess Looper's the last one.
16 Blocks was 2006. That was right after this movie. This has been a long time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe the last movie I'll give him credit for was Glass. No, before that, not even Glass. I'll give him. Oh yeah, I'll give him Looper. I'm not a big fan of Looper, but I'll give him Looper. But that was 8 years ago. It's been a while.
Yeah, and he does put out a lot of movies. Still.
Yes, he does. Like, I'm looking at this list, and I was like, wait, what?
Like, I'm afraid I'd become like a Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, but there's
sometimes there's good ones in his.
Yeah, like Nick Cage does 4 bad movies and then does a masterpiece, and then he does 4 bad movies and then does a masterpiece.
Yeah. When we can have a movie party, I want to have a bad Nick Cage movie night. And Jessica's been bugging me about this for a long time, and I watched one recently where his dead wife inherits his new girlfriend's daughter. So he's having sex with his girlfriend, and then her daughter is watching them have sex. and then she wants in on it. Like, it's the fucking weirdest thing I've seen in a long. And there's so many good Nick Cage moments in it. It's got this creepy. Then he starts like sleeping with the daughter, and it's like it's so weird. It's the craziest movie I've seen in a long time. But like
I'm making a really grossed out face because I'm really grossed out by all of what you've just said.
And but funny enough, very into X-Files. David Duchovny did a movie similar where he's in a car crash, his wife dies, and then her soul goes into his daughter. But it's actually his daughter. So then he's like,
what movie is that?
Oh, I don't know. It was on How Did This Get Made?
I don't know. I must admit, I haven't watched a lot of David Duchovny stuff because his movies are pretty bad.
Yeah, this movie is.
But
really
his TV shows are surprisingly pretty good. Because like, there's even like a movie called Rapture he did before X-Files, which was garbage, and even like what is it, Evolution or whatever?
Yeah,
that was garbage.
Evolution's not bad.
He made a cameo in Zoolander, which was a good movie, but his cameo is quite fantastic.
Yeah, what's the movie called?
I don't know. He's one of those all over the place, but he's living on his X-Files and Californication money right now.
He also did a softcore porn series like Red Shoe Diaries.
Yeah, but he was the reader of the Red Shoe Diaries. He didn't participate in the actual stories. Yeah. There's a difference. Oh yeah, don't worry. I know about that too. It's fine.
Oh, you've watched all of them, haven't
you? Maybe.
I can't find this movie. I swear. Anyways, I swear it exists.
Like a David Duchovny movie?
Yeah, he was the star of it.
He also did that movie with Angelina Jolie playing God.
Oh, I remember that at all.
See, I'm telling you, you gotta know these things.
I think it's telling you about Die Hard 4 that we're not even talking about it. But I'm trying to get back to it.
Well, he was in Twin Peaks, for sure. I'm gonna have to look up what movie you're talking about, because oh my god.
I'm trying to think who the wife is. She's recognizable. I just can't think of her name.
Is it?
But no, this movie's even hard to find. Like I ended up having to watch clips of it on YouTube. I couldn't find the whole movie.
Is it the Joneses?
I don't know.
Oh, that's the only thing I can think of.
But yeah, so this trope. I mean, this has happened in other movies where dead wife inherits daughter. What does man do? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's just so gross.
Yeah.
But I also find there's a lot of incestuous movies that have been coming out lately where I'm just like, this isn't normal. Why is this a thing that's happening? You know, because one of the biggest examples is, of course, Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
That whole thing happened. And then I watched, what's it called? Hold on. It's the guy from Valerian.
Oh, that guy, yeah. I know you're talking about.
What is it? So the guy in it, so Dane DeHaan, I actually think he's a pretty great actor. He's kind of creepy and makes me uncomfortable.
Well, he's from, we have to talk about Kevin, right?
No, that's the other guy.
Oh.
That's the guy who plays the Flash now in the DC EU.
But isn't he losing his job? Ezra Miller?
Ezra Miller, yes. Yeah, he's the one from when you talk about Kevin, and he's creepy and makes me uncomfortable as well.
But in real life, he's not. Apparently, he's a nightmare on set. And or I think the guy from the movie. Anyways, whoever plays the Flash in the movie, he's a nightmare.
Yeah, he plays the Flash in like the last movie that came out, like in Justice League. Yeah, it was Ezra Miller.
Are you excited for the Snyder Cut?
Fucking no, it's gonna be crap anyways.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with the Zack Snyder movies has nothing to do with the cuts of the movies. It has to do with the fact that he doesn't understand the fundamentals of the characters. I'm like, you're just doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the movie I'm talking about is a movie called A Cure for Wellness. And it's a very creepy, very uncomfortable movie. And it's about this like wellness center that this guy goes to, and something's just not right. Mm-hmm. And there's all of these like, there's worms and eels, and there's some really uncomfortable stuff in it. Anyways, but at the end of the movie, you realize the whole movie's about this guy who wants to live forever so he can fuck his daughter. And you're like, excuse me? Like, what?
The Donald Trump story.
Yeah, I'm like watching this, and I'm like, what? Like, this is what this comes to? And like, it's great. It's great, high production. It's super well acted. it's beautiful to look at, and like it's super like muted looking. Like, you know, in the first Matrix movie, when they're in the Matrix, everything has this like green, like muting of all the colors over it. It's the same thing in this movie. It's got that kind of color feel. Mm-hmm. So it's really nice to look at. And because of that, when the scary stuff happens, it's not really even scary. It's just uncomfortable and disturbing to look at. But up until the last 10 minutes where you still are like, I don't understand where this is going, it's great. And then you're just like, oh, an old man wants to fuck his daughter? Excuse me? I can't look at this anymore. Like, it's just so fucking frustrating. It's stuff like that I'm just like, I don't need this. Like, this is just wrong.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so Die Hard, live free or die hard. Like I said, I keep saying this. I think it's a solid action movie. I just don't think it's a Die Hard movie, and this is the thing that bothers me when I sit to watch it, because I sit down to watch a Die Hard movie, and I get this blasé action flick, and I'm like, this isn't right. You don't know who John McClane is. You don't understand the world that he lives in, and this isn't working out correctly. It's not right. Did
you hear what they're trying to do with a new one?
Yep.
The prequel, and it's him thinking about his early days as a cop.
So it's a flashback movie?
Well, that's what I heard. That's what I read. So it'll be Bruce Willis, like in present day, I guess, reliving a case from his early days. So if he's killing hundreds of terrorists, not hundreds, but it just ruins everything. Like
it does. No, we know his heroic start at Nakatomi Plaza. You can't go prior to that, or else it's just going to be a regular procedural. He's like, hey, I pulled this guy over. Let's arrest him. Okay, and then he goes to jail. That's the whole movie.
Now, if it was about a young cop, I don't know, trying to solve a case, it might be interesting, but it won't be a Die Hard movie.
Yeah, or maybe they should just, not make any more Die Hard movies and just make something else. Yeah. Just make another action flick with Bruce Willis in it. Not every action flick with Bruce Willis has to be a Die Hard movie.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all we're saying.
But studio owns the IP and they want to use it.
Yeah, it frustrates me to no end. I know. This is my biggest problem with a lot of studios right now. And I'm like, I understand you can make money off these IPs, but stop ruining them. Just stop ruining it. Just make something else. If people are going to bitch that they're like, oh, it's so similar to this story, but it's so good, it's better than, why did you make it this when it's nothing like that franchise? Then you've just ruined everything. We're like, stop. Just stop doing it.
Well, the problem is they don't want to spend a lot of money on a movie that, like, hundreds of millions of dollars if they don't know it's going to do well. Mm-hmm. And then they don't make mid-tier movies as much anymore, like $40 to $50, $60 million range.
Yeah, they all want to put in like $200 million, and it better make $1 billion back. Yeah. And you're just like, no.
And you'll be able to franchise it and license it, and so.
But the worst part is that you have smaller studios that take chances and put out smaller movies, and then when those movies do really big, then the big companies make 35 movies exactly like it, and you're just like, no.
Yeah.
That's not what the purpose of this is. It just means you should try more on smaller projects and then do something else. That's what it is.
This is definitely us being old and complaining about the state of
complaining about things. I suppose, but I think also no. But I disagree. I don't think in my day anything was new, but it was new to us because it was the first time we were seeing it. And I think maybe that's also what these companies are banking on. They're like, oh, it's a new demographic. Booshy boo, watch this stuff.
Yeah.
But we're also the first generation who live on nostalgia because we can actually rewatch things and see things again and again and present it to our kids over and over. Whereas even just our parents, they didn't have that. You couldn't go to the movies 35 times to watch something. Stuff didn't show on TV, 4 times a year. You couldn't go to the video store and just get something all the time.
Well,
it was very specific.
Favorite movies once a week, I think, but in between that, I would watch the same 6 to 8 movies on 2 or 3 VHSs that, they had 8 hours or something. So I could watch, I watched the first 3 Star Wars. Die Hard was one of them. Sword in the Stone and Little Mermaid, and it was like this. Growing up, under 10, I can't believe I got to watch Die Hard, but
Yeah, you're like, well, it's what's on the tape, so there you go.
Well, even my dad, he realized early on I like monster movies and horror movies, so he would let me pick one once in a while. But then if I had nightmares and I couldn't sleep, that was my fault. And I always did.
Of course you did, because they were scary.
Yeah, yes. I still have. I can't watch a horror movie before bed.
Yeah. Gets you a little too, like, looking over your shoulder all the time. I'm like, there's something in the closet that's gonna get me. Yeah. Anyways, well, I think that was a pretty in-depth discussion about 3 of the 4 Die Hard movies.
Well, almost at the 4-hour mark.
Which is kind of scary. But there's a bit of dead air in there, so we'll cut some. It'll be shorter. It's fine. But these movies deserve a very good discussion. All right. Well,
I want to thank you though for letting me picking me, and this was fun because I haven't watched 1 or 2 in a long time. Yeah.
That's why I do this. It's an excuse to watch good movies. I love it.
Yeah. So I thank you.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome.
Off my cap.
Well, that's it for this episode of Off My Shelf. Until next time, you can follow along on Instagram and Twitter at ohmyshelf, or you can send an email to ohmyshelf@gmail.com. On the next episode, we'll be talking about a couple comedies, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels and Dodgeball. Hope you'll be here to listen.